Inspector Bill Slade to Detective Sergeant and kicked him out of Denton Division. Some people said he was treated unfairly. Others were damn glad to see him go. But one thing is certain. If it hadn't been for the bank raid, they never would have brought him back.
How would you like it?
Oh, I'll have 5, please.
5's right.
Bennington's Bank, Market Street, Denton. 2:30 Wednesday afternoon. Everything boringly normal until...
No one move! Do what we say, no one's going to get hurt!
Please, I've got to get out. I can't stay here. Please let me go.
Tell us, shut her up!
Please,
I told you. Hey, fella. Now open up those tills. Open them. Yes. Take out the money. Only the notes. Now push them forward. All right. Both hands. What are you doing? Who sounded the alarm? Ah! You cow! You bloody cow! Leave her! I said leave her! Let's get out of here! No one move! No one move!
Cover Up by R.D. Wingfield, with Andrew Burt as the narrator, Detective Constable Kilburn, David Sinclair as Detective Sergeant Slade, and David Garth as Detective Inspector Hackman. Cover Up.
X-ray Delta 3 to control. X-ray Delta 3 to control.
Control. Come in, X-ray Delta 3.
Am returning to station from incident in Roman Road. Have on board Detective Inspector Adams and Detective Sergeant Collier. Over.
Thank you, X-ray Delta 3. Over and out.
What the hell? Alarm, Sergeant. Bennington's Bank, Market Street.
Denton control to all units. Alarm call. Bennington's Bank, Market Street. Who's in vicinity? Over.
Hello, Control. Golf Bravo 2. I'm in Eagle Lane. Proceeding immediately to Market Street.
Thank you, Golf Bravo 2.
Denton Police? Yes, sir, car's on the way. Can we have some details? Yeah, hold on. Sarge, manager of Bennington Bank on the phone. 2 men, stocking masks, mid-20s.
2 men, stocking masks, mid-20s, denims, both armed. One with a shotgun, one with a revolver. Made off in red Ford Escort. Registration number believed to be WHE, Whiskey Hotel Echo, or WHF, Whiskey Hotel Foxtrot, 9-something-something, 8 or 5.
Yeah, only permutation of 8 from 24. Stand! Tell control.
X-ray Delta 3 to control. Red Ford Escort registration number. Whiskey Hotel Foxtrot, a 9-3-5-8. 2 passengers proceeding north towards Fellbridge. We are in pursuit. Over.
Message acknowledged. X-ray Delta 3 will send assistance and would remind you that the suspects are armed.
Thank you, Control. The suspects turning
right at Hayford Junction.
Stop Milner.
Take over, Hardin. Yes, sir?
I've just heard about the armed robbery. What's the position?
X-ray Delta in hot pursuit, sir. They've got Mr. Adams and Mr. Collier with them.
Well, how much did they get away with?
Nothing, sir, as far as I know. A cashier set off the alarm and they ran for it.
Anyone hurt?
A woman customer chucked a milk bottle at one of them, caught him in the head.
Do any damage?
Lots of blood and broken glass on the floor, sir. So one of them could have a nasty headache.
X-ray Delta 3 to control. Come in, please. Urgent.
Sarge?
Excuse me, sir. Coming. Come in, X-ray Delta 3.
Come in, X-ray Delta 3.
We are closing in on suspect vehicle. Approaching main Denton roundabout. Would appreciate...
It's on the body! Look out!
It seemed impossible that anyone could get out of that mangled wreckage alive. The police observer and Detective Sergeant Collier were dragged out unconscious, arms, legs and ribs broken. Inspector Adams had severe internal injuries and a fractured skull. It took the fire brigade over an hour to cut the driver free of the wreckage. The doctors gave him very little chance. The Ford Escort, of course, got clean away. I was sent to the bank with Detective Inspector Hackman to get a description of the 2 men.
It all happened so quickly.
I appreciate that, madam. But you must have noticed something about them. I mean, was their hair long? Short? Were they clean-shaven?
I told you everything I've remembered, Inspector.
Oh.
It was terrifying. They wore those stocking things. It distorted their faces. Oh, wait a minute. The one with the gun.
What, the shotgun?
No, the other one. The one the lady threw the bottle at. I think he wore a ring.
Oh, good. Now, what sort of ring?
Sort of silver. Quite big.
Yeah, signet ring?
It could have been. I don't know.
Which hand, then? Left or right?
I don't know. It's right, I think. I'm sorry. It all happened so quickly.
Thank you, madam. Kilburn.
Sir? Well, you should think of anything else, madam.
Yes, of course.
Now, any of your witnesses mention a signet ring, Kilburn?
No, sir. Shall I ask them?
Oh, don't be more stupid than you can help, Constable. If you ask them, they'll all remember a ring, whether he was wearing one or not.
I should have mentioned that if Mr. Hackman didn't like you, he didn't like you. And he certainly didn't like me. The abandoned Ford Escort turned up in a side road half an hour later.
Forensic finished with it, Gordon?
Yeah, for the time being, sir. Oh, but don't touch the dashboard. They've lifted some prints. And mind the blood.
Blood?
Yeah, it's on the headdresser. It's probably where the old dear christened him with a milk bowl.
Oh, that reminds me. Kilburn.
Sir?
Get control to contact all hospitals, doctors and chemists in the area. Anyone requesting treatment for a head wound, I want to know.
Right.
Now, Constable. Now. When did I think I meant? Next bloody week.
Right, sir.
Now, do we know whose car this is?
Oh, yes, sir. It's reported stolen from a house in Haywoods Crescent early this morning. It belongs to a Mrs. Lily Gregson.
Married?
Yeah, well, divorced, sir.
Oh. Check her out. See if she's got any tearaway boyfriends.
She's over 70, sir.
Well, check her out anyway. Never know your luck. Oh, I'm looking for an assistant. You interested, Gordon?
Well, I thought Kilburn was your assistant, sir.
He was, but he's got a surprise coming.
I wasn't the only one to have a surprise coming. The superintendent had one up his sleeve for Mr. Hackman.
Detective Sergeant Slade? No, sir. No way. He's trouble. There's no way I'm having him back.
2 armed men on the loose, 4 police officers in hospital. We need extra help.
Yeah, but not him.
He knows the area. He gets results.
By using his fists, and he'll start raking up that other business.
I'll make certain he doesn't. It'll only be for a few days. You'll hardly see him. You'll be in court in the Anderson trial. As soon as you're back, he goes.
I don't like it, sir.
Well, quite frankly, neither do I. I fought it tooth and nail, but County insisted. They're breathing down our necks on this one, Inspector. They want results. If we don't get them, we're in trouble.
Denton Police? No, I think it's with the superintendent. I'll put you through.
Who is this bloke, Slade, Sarge? Replacement from County.
He's not a bloke, he's a detective sergeant.
He used to work here, didn't he, Sarge?
A couple of years ago, yes.
Until they demoted him and kicked him out.
Demoted him?
From inspector to sergeant.
They didn't kick him out, he was transferred.
Transferred from here? That's not a punishment, that's a reward.
Mr. Hackman been shouting at you again.
He treats me like an idiot.
He's a good judge of character. Now get on with your work, you two.
Why did they kick him out, Sarge?
He had a fight with Mr. Hackman and half killed him.
You talk too much.
Is that really what happened?
Yes, now let it drop. Mr. Hackman's coming.
Don't look very happy, does he?
Sergeant Milner, have you heard who we're having as temporary replacements?
Yes, sir. We were just discussing it. Quite a surprise.
Surprise? It's bloody madness. Stark bloody madness. Now, what is it now?
Forensic have identified the fingerprints on the Ford Escort, sir. Dear old Harry Rawlins.
Ah, Harry Rawlins.
Yes, sir.
Now, this could be the break we're looking for. He's got form as long as your arm. Robbery, breaking and entering. Yes, we could get this tied up tonight.
The inspector was taking no chances. If Harry Rawlins was armed, we were going to have police marksmen surrounding the house. Spotlights, loud hailers in case of a siege. There was one thing he didn't intend to take with him, though.
Just going, Sergeant.
Shall we go in my car, sir?
No, Constable, you won't be coming. You're no longer with me. Sergeant Milner will explain. Come on, Gordon. Sir.
What's all this then, Sarge?
Sorry, Kilburn. I should have mentioned it earlier. Nothing against you, but Mr. Hackman feels you need a more experienced assistant.
So what am I supposed to have done wrong?
Nothing. You just haven't got the experience.
Then how the hell am I going to get the experience?
You can keep your voice down for a start. There's no point in getting upset. We all know what Mr. Hackman is like.
I want to see the superintendent.
To do you no good. Now take a tip from someone who knows. Let it drop.
But I couldn't let it drop. I was fuming. And now I was looking forward to the arrival of Detective Sergeant Slade. Anyone who had half killed Mr. Hackman just had to be my folk hero. It was nearly midnight before he arrived.
Yes, madam. We've circulated the description. If anyone brings it in, we'll let you know. Sounds a real right cow, no wonder a dog ran away.
Sarge, this fight that Mr. Slade had with Inspector Hackman, what was it about?
It was about nothing. Now get on with your work.
There must have been a reason.
You need a reason to smack Mr. Hackman on the nose.
What was it all about then, Sarge?
All right, I suppose I'll get no peace until I do tell you. Bill Slade had a daughter, 17 years old. She was killed, knocked down by a hit and run. No witnesses. The driver was never traced. Hackman was in charge of the investigation.
And?
Slade made up his mind that there were irregularities, that Hackman knew who the driver was, but had accepted a bribe to keep his mouth shut.
Accepting bribes? I wouldn't put that past Hackman.
Mr. Hackman to you. And don't let me hear that sort of talk. He's your superior officer, and there was absolutely no proof.
Mr. Hackman would have been too clever for that.
I'm warning you, Harding. Your mouth is going to get you into serious trouble one of these days. Now let the entire matter drop.
Shop? Anyone serving in here?
Who the hell do you think? Bill Slade!
Has the man no shame? Returning to the scene of his former downfall? Why aren't the flags out? He knew I was coming.
We didn't expect you till the morning.
That explains it. Yeah, it's good to be back in the old place. Whew. Same old smells. Furniture polish, disinfectant, and the hint of something nasty from the drunk cells. Talking of something nasty, where's Hackman?
Out picking up a suspect.
Oh, I bet he was overjoyed at the news of my return.
I've seen him looking happier. Forget whose funeral, though. You won't know these two layabouts. P.C. Harding.
Hello.
And Detective Constable Kilburn.
How you doing?
He'll be your assistant.
Drew the short straw, did you, Kilburn? Well, what office have I got?
Small one at the end of the corridor. I'll show you.
I'll say it's small. Used to be a broom cupboard. It must be somewhere else.
I was told to put you as far away from Mr. Hackman as possible.
Why, does he smell of something? You can have that desk, Kilburn.
Oh, right.
Old files still kept in the storeroom, Sergeant?
Your daughter's file has been moved to the confidential record room. Mr. Hackman's orders.
Who keeps the keys?
I do, and you're not having them.
Ah, Kilburn, I've been looking... Bill Slade.
I expect people to knock before they come into my office, Hackman.
Inspector Hackman. Sergeant. Don't get up.
I had no intention of doing so.
Right. If you two would leave us.
Yes, sir.
Now, Slade. I didn't want you here. You're trouble. And that's one thing I can do without. But while you're here, you will treat me with respect. Do you understand?
Why has my daughter's file been moved to confidential record?
I have no intention of discussing my reasons. That case is done, over and finished with.
Have you spent all the bribe money?
Repeat that slander in anyone else's hearing, and you'll not only be out of the division, you'll be out of the force. And don't get too settled in here. You're going back tomorrow.
Am I?
Oh, yes. I brought in one of the bank bandits, and when he's coughed, I'll get the other. So I'm afraid you've had a wasted journey. If I don't see you again, goodbye, Sergeant.
Good riddance. Yeah?
What happened?
You come to sweep up the broken teeth, forget it. I exercised restraint and kept my hands in my pockets. Who's this suspect he's arrested?
Harry Rawlings.
Harry Rawlings? Wouldn't have thought robbing banks with shooters was his style.
His fingerprints are on the getaway car. A stocking mask was found in his house, and he can't provide an alibi.
What time are the trains back tomorrow?
Sarge?
Knock before you come in here, Constable. I don't want you picking up Mr. Hackman's bad habits. What is it?
I've got Mr. George Tyson on the phone.
The MP for Denton? What's he want?
Wouldn't say. He asked for Mr. Hackman. I told him he wasn't available, so he said he wanted to speak to a senior police officer.
And he's going to be unlucky. This phone?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
My name is Tyson. I'm MP for the Denton constituency.
Yes, sir. I know who you are.
Good. I want a senior and experienced police officer at my house right away.
Would you mind telling me what it's all about, Mr. Tyson?
Not over the phone. I want this treated with the utmost confidence. Will you please use the back entrance? It's vital no one sees you. Is that understood?
You sure this is the house?
Trust me, Kilburn, trust me.
is it?
Police.
Come in, quick. Did anyone see you?
A couple of cows and a sheep. We came over the fields.
Good. Warrant card.
Here.
Detective Sergeant Slade. Slade?
That's right, sir.
I thought you'd left Denton.
Back for a few days, sir. Special guest appearance. My colleague is Detective Constable Kilburn.
I'd have thought an MP would have warranted someone higher up the scale than a sergeant and a constable.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning, sir. The choice is rather limited. Are we going to conduct our business in the passage?
In here. Jen, it's the police.
You don't care, do you? You don't care what they do to us.
Of course I care, but I was elected on a law and order ticket, and I don't give way to threats. Anyway, no one could have seen them. They came in the back way. Sit down, Sergeant.
I'd like to know what all this is about.
It's about our son, Keith. He's in serious trouble.
Well, that's nothing new.
He's been kidnapped.
Oh, yeah?
Are you doubting us, Sergeant?
I've had previous experience with your son, sir, so let's just say I'm slightly sceptical.
Well, perhaps you won't be sceptical when you hear this.
What is it?
A tape recording of a phone call I received about half an hour ago.
I don't want to hear it again.
Well, then go and make some coffee or something.
You won't be happy until he's dead, will you?
Sorry about that.
That's all right, sir. Do you tape all telephone calls?
Yes, I find it pays. I think it starts here.
2743.
Mr. Tyson. Mr. George Tyson, the MP.
Yes, who is this?
Don't ask questions, just listen. We've got your son.
What? Who are you?
I said listen, we've got him. We've not hurt him too much, yet. If you want him back alive, get £10,000 in used, unmarked notes from your bank. Then put an ad in the Denton Echo personal column. All is ready, George. When we see the ad, we'll contact you again. Is that understood?
How do I know you've got him?
Just a minute. I'll bring him over here. It's your daddy, Keith. Wants to speak to you.
Dad? Keith, what's happened? What have they done to you?
Dad, you've got to do what they say. For God's sake, do what they say. Ah! No, please.
Forgot something.
Ow!
About the police.
If you tell the police, Dad, they'll kill me. They'll do it, Dad. You've got to believe me. They'll do it.
10,000. Use notes. Ad in paper and no police.
Hello? 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 Are you there?
Well, Sergeant?
Sounds genuine enough, sir. But so did those fake bomb calls he made 2 years ago. They took a hell of a lot of people in. I can never understand why the charges were suddenly dropped.
It was only 17.
Oh, was that the reason? You sure he's not hiding in a house somewhere, laughing his head off at us?
If he is, I'll wring his neck.
There you are, Constable. There's an incentive for you. Take a look round.
I looked everywhere anyone could possibly hide. He wasn't in the house. We then began asking questions. A slow and difficult business, as Mrs. Tyson was refusing to cooperate. We managed to glean that 19-year-old Keith, a student at Denton College, had been at home all day, studying for an exam.
Studying? Playing his records full blast, more like.
He was studying. You weren't here, you wouldn't know.
What time did he leave the house, Mrs. Tyson? Mrs. Tyson? Mrs. Tyson?
All these questions. They won't bring him back. Just go, Sergeant. Get out of here and go.
He left around about 7:30. She told me.
How'd he leave? On foot?
In his car. A light blue 1982 Mini with personalized number plates. KT001. A birthday present from his mother.
Well, there's not much more we can do tonight, sir. We'll be back tomorrow when your wife's feeling better.
But you're going to do something.
It's a bit late to start knocking on doors. We'll circulate details of his car. Someone might spot it. But if he should come back in the meantime, grinning all over his face, you will let us know, won't you? Come on, Constable.
Yes, sir. The sergeant still didn't think the kidnapping was genuine. I did. I was sure it was. As we drove back, I wondered how my old boss, Mr. Hackman, was getting on with his suspect.
My patience is wearing bloody thin, Rawlings. We've got you. We've got you cold. No alibi, stocking mask, your fingerprints all over the damn car.
I don't know how they got there.
I do. From your dirty little hands when you drove away from the bank. How many more times? I was nowhere near Bennington's flaming bank. I was indoors all the time. Ah, but you can't prove it. I don't have to prove it. And it's up to you to prove I wasn't. Don't come that smart stuff with me, Rawlings. 4 policemen in hospital, one of them on the critical list. If he dies, it's murder. You needn't say another word. I've got everything on you I need to make a murder charge stick. But there were 2 of you. And I want your accomplice as well. Give me his name and I'm willing to accept it was him who was firing at the police car, not you. Well, my patience is wearing bloody thin, Rawlings.
There was no accomplice. I was indoors at the time. I never went anywhere near that bank. And I want a solicitor.
By the time we got back to the station, Inspector Hackman had left for home.
Did he get a confession?
No, he's leaving Rawlins to stew overnight.
I think I'll go and have a word with him.
Oh, no, you won't. He's to see no one. Besides, if Mr. Hackman knew you'd been questioning his number 1 suspect... Bill, I said no.
Hello, Harry. Oh, Mr. Slade. I thought they'd moved you on.
They couldn't manage without me. Well, my son, you've got yourself in a real right mess, haven't you?
He's framing me, Mr. Slade. Framing me.
Come off it, Harry. It's only bad policemen who do things like that. We're talking about Mr. Hackman. Fag?
Oh, yeah, please. He took mine away. Wouldn't let me have him back.
Well, there's very few perks in this job. The pressure's on him. On all of us. 4 men in hospital. 1 very likely to die. We none of us take kindly to that, Harry.
I know nothing about it.
Of course you don't. That's why your prints were all over the car. Stocking mask in your bedroom. Housebreaking implements in your shed. No, I can see you're innocent.
So they find a housebreaking tool. It's fair enough. I'm a burglar. You know that, Mr. Slade. You've nicked me often enough. But I don't use a shooter. And I don't hold up banks in broad daylight.
Your fingerprints were inside the car.
Well, he says they're mine.
And he's quite right, Harry. I've seen the photographs and the forensic reports.
Well, I don't know how he did it, but he fiddled it somehow. He framed me. I mean that stocking mask, on my word of honour, Mr. Slade, that was not in my house. He brought it with him, he planted it.
Harry.
I've only told you, Mr. Slade. I knew it'd be a waste of time telling anyone else. But we both know what Mr. Hackman's capable of.
Even if he planted that stocking, as sure as hell he didn't plant those fingerprints.
I never robbed no bank and I was never inside that car. I want a solicitor.
I want a 20-year-old nymphomaniac, Harry. But I don't pine for the unobtainable. You working?
Well, I was a tool maker at Hinckley's, wasn't I, until he went bust.
That was 2 years ago. So what else you been doing? Apart from housebreaking?
Well, I haven't broken into a house since you last nicked me.
Harry.
Well, if I have, I certainly haven't been caught.
So, what else do you do?
Well, anything I can get. Day here, day there. Exhaust fitting, double glazing installations, paint spraying. Well, it's nothing regular. And that's why Doris left me.
And that's why you decided to rob Bennington's bank, to get some lolly to win her back.
Oh, do me a favour, Mr. Slade. It's been sheer heaven without her. I don't want her back. And I didn't rob no bank.
Do you know, Harry? I almost believe you.
It was another 3 hours before I could get to bed. I couldn't sleep. I staggered into the station dead tired at 10 the next morning. Sergeant Slade was already there, in the superintendent's office.
You did what, Slade?
I let Rawlings go, sir. I released him.
You let him go? My prisoner, my case?
Our case, Inspector. I was brought in to cooperate with you.
Oh, and that's how you cooperate?
I let him go because we had nothing to hold him on.
Nothing? There was the mask.
One of his wife's old stockings.
Housebreaking tools?
So, he's a burglar. But he robs houses, not banks.
And the fingerprints in the car?
Oh, they were his, all right, sir. But I found out how and when they got there. Rawlings does odd jobs. From time to time, he works as replacement fitter for Denton Exhaust Services. Last week, Mrs. Gregson took her Ford Escort along for a new exhaust. Who do you think fitted it?
Rawlings?
Right in one, sir. I've got the worksheet here. Just in case there should be any doubt, that's how his prints got inside the car. So I let him go. Simple as that.
Well, you should have discussed it with Mr. Hackman first.
He wasn't here, sir. He must have left early. And I knew you wouldn't have wanted us to have held an innocent man after he'd been cleared. If the press got hold of it...
Yes, of course.
We're left with a mystery, though.
Oh?
That stocking mask. Harry Rawlings is positive it wasn't in his house until you found it, Mr. Hackman. I mean, we know he wasn't involved, so how did it get there? Harry reckons you planted it.
You know damn well I did. It was just a ploy to get him confused, to get a statement from him. I'd never have used it as evidence.
You never mentioned this earlier, Inspector. You led me to believe it was genuine evidence.
I'm sorry, sir. I overlooked it.
All right. But if this sort of deviousness has been usual practice, I'd feel much happier if you would discontinue it immediately.
Of course, sir. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm due in court. Thank you, Slade.
My pleasure.
So, Slade, we're back to square one. No suspects, no leads, nothing. You're supposed to be the expert. What are you going to do?
We carry on rounding up and questioning our regulars. Not that it'll do us any good. I'm sure these are new boys.
We could have done that ourselves without bringing you here. What about your famous local knowledge? Your informants?
I'll ask around. They may have heard something. Trouble is, a couple of punks with guns after money. They've tried once. They're going to try again. And at the moment, I don't see how we can stop them. Anyway, I must go. I've got another case to see to.
Other cases must wait. This is priority.
Fair enough, sir. I'm sure Mr. Tyson will understand. Eventually.
Tyson? Our MP? Well, of course. Get over there right away. 10 o'clock. No wonder you bothered to turn up at all.
Sorry, sir. One of your constituents was shot yesterday. Had to give his case a few minutes of my time. I take it Master Keith hasn't returned to the fold?
No, of course he hasn't. He's been kidnapped.
I take it all your inquiries have come to naught?
His college friends don't know where he is. No one's seen his car.
So what's the next move?
The next move? I'd have thought that was obvious. You do what they say. Get the money. Pay them.
I don't kowtow to blackmail.
You'd kowtow fast enough if it was your life that was in danger.
Your wife's right, sir. Go along with them. Get the money, put the ad in.
What the hell's the point of calling the police in, then?
Draw out the money and let us mark the notes.
No.
It's a special die, Mrs. Tyson. The kidnappers won't notice a thing.
Our technical boys can slip a radio homing device in the money bag. We'll be able to pinpoint its exact location.
All right. I'll do what you say.
Good. Now, let's get down to basics. When Keith went out last night, Mrs. Tyson, did he say where he was going?
No. Not last night.
Nor any other damn night. Just comes and goes as he pleases. He uses the house as a hotel.
Did you notice in which direction he drove off, Mrs. Tyson?
No, I didn't see. I was in here. I heard the front door slam as he left, that's all.
So we're not even certain he went off in his car?
Well, he goes everywhere by car.
Yeah, too damn lazy to walk.
Where does he garage it?
The brick lockup round the corner.
Check it out, would you, Kilburn?
Right, Sarge.
Have you noticed anyone lurking about the place?
Were those men in the car?
That was nothing.
Tell me about them.
Monday night, about 8:30. I happened to glance out of the window and I saw this car. It was crawling past the house. There were 3 men inside, all staring in. Once past the house, it picked up speed and roared off. But 5 minutes later, it was back again. The men staring in, they had such vicious faces. I was alone in the house. I was terrified.
You've been watching too much television. They were probably looking for a house number.
What sort of car was it?
Big, flashy, dark-coloured.
Can you describe any of the men?
No. No, they just looked like thugs.
Sound like double-glazing salesmen doing a recce. Still, could be important.
Sergeant, you got a minute?
Excuse me. So what? You found something?
In the lockup. You better come and see for yourself. I didn't have to force the lock. Someone had already done it.
Yeah. More brute force than skill. Open it up. So he didn't take his car last night. Unless he drove it back afterwards.
Well, that depends when the damage was done.
Damage?
Well, the tyres.
Flat as a pancake. That's been done with a knife.
So the seats. Look, slashed to ribbons. And the windscreen.
Someone's belted that with a hammer. Can we have some light?
Right, if I can find it. Ah.
Oh, that's better. What's that on the windscreen?
Well, it looks like blood.
Yeah. Don't like this, Kilburn. I don't like this one little bit. There's more blood over there on the floor. It's been leaking from this cupboard. Find something to open it.
I forced open the door. Inside, a huddled shape covered with blood-stained sacking. Slade pushed me back and slowly and carefully removed the covering.
It's a dog. An Alsatian.
Is it dead?
Of course it's dead. Head's been smashed in. Killed it with a sledgehammer. Then smashed the car windscreen. That's how the blood got there.
It's been dead a couple of days at least.
Yeah. Get Tyson over here. But don't let his wife know what we found.
What sort of morons are we dealing with? Yes. It is Keith's dog.
When did you last see it alive?
Monday evening. We thought it had run away.
Oh?
Keith only bought it at the end of last week. Suddenly decided he wanted a guard dog. Took it everywhere with him, even in the car. At night, he kept it in here.
And it was in here Monday night?
Yes. Yes, I heard it. We all did. Woke us up in the early hours of its damn barking. I yelled for Keith to go over and shut it up, and suddenly it stopped. Tuesday morning, he went to feed it, but it had gone. We assumed it had run off.
With the garage door locked?
Hadn't thought of that.
Did your son report its loss to the police, Mr. Tyson?
No.
What, an expensive dog. He should have done.
Well, lots of things my son should have done, Constable, but didn't.
Well, it wouldn't have made any difference. The dog was dead. Someone killed it, then smashed up the car.
Car wasn't smashed up on Monday night.
Why'd you say that?
Well, I told you. My son came here Tuesday morning to feed the dog. If the car had been smashed, don't you think he'd have said?
Straight back, Sergeant.
No. I've a couple of calls to make first. Turn left at the top here. Any ideas why that car was damaged?
Well, kidnappers did it. They smashed his car, so he has to walk. Then they offer him a lift, then... Well, they got him.
Well, there's more subtle ways of putting a car out of action than smashing it to pieces.
Oh. What do you reckon, then?
Try this for size. Keith Tyson owes a lot of money. He's told if he doesn't cough up, they'll put the boot in. So he buys himself a guard dog for protection, but they kill Fido and spoil the look of his motor, just to show they mean business. He knew who'd done it, but was too scared to go to the police.
We don't know he owed anyone money.
No, but we can find out. Pull up by that White House.
Oh, right.
That's where I used to live. When we divorced, my ex-wife took it as her share of the loot. She still lives there, with her new husband. That room up there used to be my daughter's room. I won't be long.
Yes?
Hello, Betty.
What do you want?
I've been transferred back for a couple of days. I'd say hello.
Well, you've said it. Now go.
Hold on. How are you?
I'm fine. Marvellous. Never been better.
Good. Can I come in?
No.
How's David?
David's fine. I'm fine. We're both fine. He comes home regularly. He takes me out occasionally. He even talks to me. Actually listens to me.
All the things I didn't do.
Yeah. The job, first and last with you. Never mind your wife. Never mind your daughter.
That's not fair.
May not be fair, but it's true. When she was killed, where were you when I needed you?
You know where I was. Out trying to find the bastard who killed her. Well, I'm going to find her, Betty. That I promise you. If it's the last thing I do, for her sake, I'm going to find it.
For her sake? pity you didn't show such concern for your daughter when she was still alive.
What do you mean?
Now, do you think you could just please go?
Where to, Sarge?
Anyway, you damn well like. What the hell did I hope to achieve by going to see her? She's never forgiven me for Sally's death.
Do you want to talk about it?
Why not? I've got a photo somewhere. There. Taken on her 17th birthday. Just 2 days before it happened.
Yeah, lovely looking kid.
Yeah. There was a film she wanted to see. I was going to take her. My wife was away at her sister's. At the last minute, something broke on a case I was working on, and I had to get back to the station. I didn't like disappointing Sally after I promised, but it was one of those things. She said she'd see the film on her own.
Well, wasn't there a boyfriend she could go with?
No. She was a quiet girl. Young for her age. Anyway, I dropped her off outside the Odeon at 8 o'clock. She waved me goodbye. The last time I saw her alive. Cigarette?
No, thanks.
I was out most of the night on a stakeout. Didn't get back to the station till past 2 in the morning. Inspector Hackman was waiting for me. I was surprised to see him. It was his off-duty night. He was all tarted up in evening dress. I started to make some crack when I saw his face. He told me Sally was dead. Knocked down and killed outside the Blue Diamond.
The Blue Diamond?
Yeah, sleazy nightclub and gambling house on the outskirts of Denton.
Yeah, I know that, but what was she doing there? Well, it's hardly the sort of place a 17-year-old will go to.
I don't know.
Hey, how did Mr. Hackman come to be in charge of a hit and run? Shouldn't it have been a job for traffic?
He was in the club at the time. He took charge.
And the hit and run driver was never traced?
If you believe Hackman, no. But I don't believe him.
Oh?
A couple of days later, I had a phone call. One of my informants. He said he was surprised to read in the paper that the driver never stopped. He said he was outside the club minutes after the accident. A big, expensive car was slewed across the road. Sally's body near it, covered by a sheet. Hackman had the car door open, was talking to the driver. My informant said the bloke looked half cut. He said money appeared to change hands.
Did you tackle Mr. Hackman?
Too bloody true I did. He denied it. Said my informant had a grudge against him. The funny thing is, suddenly my informant went missing. Turned up a couple of days later with his face all bruised. Withdrew his story completely. Said he'd made it up to get Mr. Hackman into trouble.
Which could well have been true.
No. He'd been got at to keep his mouth shut.
By Mr. Hackman?
Yeah. Driver of that car was someone special. Someone important. Blind, drunk, and killed a 17-year-old. So paid a packet to Hackman to hush all that up.
There's a hell of a lot of accusation there, Sarge, and a complete absence of proof.
Let's just say that I don't handicap myself by starting from the supposition that Hackman is an honest cop. Seen his house? Bloody palace. Ever wondered how he could afford the mortgage on an inspector's salary?
I thought his wife had money.
You believe that, you'll believe anything. He takes dropsy, left, right, and centre. Keith Tyson wasn't charged for those bomb hoaxes. Everyone's screaming for his blood, but the charges were dropped. Guess whose case it was?
Mr. Hackman's?
Who else? Still, I don't want to get you involved in all this. Hey, feel like a drink?
I wouldn't say no.
We'll combine business with pleasure. There's someone I want to see in this little pub I used to go to. Nice, quiet and peaceful place. You'll love it.
Nice, quiet and peaceful, did you say, Sarge?
It's changed. Bitter, do you?
Fine, thanks.
Barman! Oi, barman! 2 pints of bitter, please.
All right, I've only got one pair of hands.
Mr. Slade! Well, there must be 2 years. Where have you been?
Standing here trying to get served. What's happened to this place? Used to be nice, quiet and miserable.
New landlord, new ideas. Give the punters strippers to watch and they don't notice how rotten the beer is. 2 bitters, was it?
Please. Here, Charlie, I'm looking for Eddie Coker.
Eddie? No, I haven't seen him today. Most unusual for him. Here we are. 2 bitters.
Sir, what do I owe you?
On the house.
Oh, you're a gentleman, Charlie. Reckon you could be even more of one and ask around about Eddie. Most important that I speak to him.
Well, hold on, I'll ask the other barman. He knows Eddie. Who is this Eddie Coker?
Like I was telling you about.
Oh, your informant, the one who saw the driver.
Yeah. I called on him last night. His landlady said he'd suddenly packed a case and got the hell out of there with no forwarding address. It's almost as if he knew I was back.
Coincidence, Sarge. How could he have known? Mr. Slade? Eddie was in here last night, but your Mr. Hackman came in and spoke to him. They left together.
Thanks, Charlie. Still a coincidence, Kilburn?
I don't know.
Drink up and we'll... Here, hold on. Someone over there who could help us. Here, grab your drink. Come on. Excuse me. This'll do it. Perhaps the gentleman would move up.
Here! Who are you pushing?
Good Lord. Can't be. It is. Arnold Porter.
Oh, no. What are you doing back?
Return engagement by popular demand. Nice to see you, Arnold. To see you nice.
Must you sit here, Mr. Slade? People can see us.
I'm not proud. To me, you're still one of God's creatures. My beer-drinking chum is Detective Constable Kilburn. Mr. Kilburn, Arnold Porter.
Hello.
He's a copper's narc.
Not anymore, I'm not. I've got to be going. Ow!
Oh, sorry, Arnold. Was that your foot? What do you know about this bank job?
What bank job? Ow!
Oh, dear. I didn't kick the same spot, did I? I get more and more clumsy as I get older. You know darn well what bank job, Arnold.
Not a whisper, Mr. Slade. Word is they're new boys. None of our regulars.
I'm not interested in who they aren't. I want to know who they are.
Don't think I can help you, Mr. Slade?
I'm sure you can. What are you drinking?
Oh, that's very civil of you, Inspector.
Sergeant.
Miscarriage of justice, that was. I've always said so. I'll have a large whiskey.
Half a bitter for my friend, Charlie.
Bitter? I said whiskey, a large one.
Did you hear him say large whiskey, Constable?
Sounded like a small bitter to me, Sarge.
There you are, Arnold. And policemen never lie. Unless they're on licensed premises. I want information on that bank job, Arnold. Ask around, let me know.
It won't be any good.
I'll be generous. I might even restrain myself from reopening the file on that Kirby Street warehouse job.
I'll do what I can.
Here we are. 1/2 a bitter. Pay the man, would you, Arnold? I seem to have left my wallet in my other suit. 97, 98, 99, 100. Bung this with the others, Kilburn.
There's no need to count it. It was checked at the bank.
Banks have been known to make mistakes, Mr. Tyson, and I'm the one who's got to sign for it.
Mr. Tyson, heard you were here. Everything all right, sir? Yes, Superintendent. I've brought the ransom money. I'm waiting while it's checked. Forget it, Canton. Mr. Tyson's a very busy man. Sorry I couldn't give you Mr. Hackman. He's in court. Damn nuisance. Still, there's one thing perhaps you could do for me. Name it. Once my son is back, safe and sound, it wouldn't do any harm to let the press know that, in spite of my fears and concern for his safety, I cooperated up to the hilt with the police. Might sound better if it came from you rather than me. I'll see to it personally. Will you be much longer, son?
No, sir. I finished. Here's your receipt, Mr. Tyson. You'll get the money back as soon as forensic are finished with it.
Thank you.
One thing, sir. Does your son gamble?
Why on earth do you ask that?
Just a vague line of inquiry. Probably not important. Does he?
He did. About a year ago. Went up debts of nearly £500, which I had to pay. I made it clear that if he gambled again, I'd pull him out of college and put him into a job. That, I assure you, put a stop to it.
Who did he bet with when he was gambling?
Sammy Levin.
What?
You know him?
Oh, we know him, sir. Haven't been able to put him inside yet, but we're trying very hard. Thank you, sir.
Allow me to show you out, Mr. Tyson.
Now, any worries, just give me a ring. Anytime.
Brendan.
I'll get this over to forensic then, Sarge.
Yeah, and don't stop at any sweet shops on the way. I've signed for that little lot. Slade?
It's me, Mr. Slade. Arnold Porter. Those boys with the guns. I've got something for you.
Then let's have it.
Not over the phone, and it'll cost you $2,000.
Where? When?
Arthur's Cansport Cafe. Corner table. Half an hour.
All right then, Arnold. What's all this Burgess and McLean stuff?
Well, it's best we're not seen together. People with guns play rough. Got the money?
In my pocket.
Well, let's see it.
What sort of a world is it where the crooks don't trust the police? You just have to take my word. Now, let's hear what you've got.
2 blokes, mid-20s. One wearing a signet ring, the other with sticking plaster down his face. Interested?
Yeah. Which side of his face?
Left. Whisper is they've been buying ammo.
Caliber?
2.2. And there's a buzz going around that they're pulling off another job tonight. And they're taking their shooters with them.
Where?
That's where you'll get free. The rest comes expensive.
So does a new set of front teeth.
Oh, what?
I said where, Arnold?
That big new hypermarket just outside the town.
Henderson's?
Yes. Now, it's late night shopping tonight, and there should be over 100,000 in the safe, and only a couple of night watchmen.
What time are they going to pull it?
Oh, blimey, Mr. Slade, you want jam on it. I've no idea.
Is that it?
Isn't that enough?
How'd you get hold of this?
From a reliable source, Mr. Slade. An expensive source. So where's the $2,000?
Yeah.
A $5.
Henderson's hypermarket? That's way out in the wilds.
I know, sir. I want to stake it out.
How many men would you need?
I'll need every available man we've got, sir. 8 cars, police marksmen, the lot. I've taken a look at that hypermarket. Junction of 4 roads. God knows how many entrances. They could even come in over the top. To be safe, we'll even need to bring in extra men from outside.
This would mean leaving the rest of Denton absolutely unpoliced.
I know, sir.
Can I have your assurance that the information is genuine?
No, sir. He's lied to me in the past. He could well be lying now. But he mentioned 3 things which only we know about and which we haven't released to the press. The signet ring, the injury to the face, and that the ammo is 2.2.
He could have found it out some other way. People talk, you know.
Do I go ahead? Do I get all the men I want?
Have you any idea what this will cost? It's all overtime. Surely you can manage with fewer men.
Against 2 armed bandits? No, sir.
We don't even know if the information's genuine.
We've got to take the chance that it is.
We? I'm the one taking the chance. I'm the one who's got to authorise all of this. All right. On your insistence, I agree. But if it all blows up in your face, don't expect me to back you.
That's the last thing I'd expect, sir.
Where are we going?
Sammy Levin's betting shop.
You can always phone your bets through, Sarge.
I'm not in the mood for unfunny jokes.
Sorry?
I'm sorry. When we get to Sammy's place, park round the corner. Keep your hand on your wallet. He's a bigger crook than Mr. Hackman. Mr. Levin in his office, is he?
Yes, but... Hey, you can't go through there. It's private. Oi, come back.
Hello, Sammy.
Mr. Slade.
Oh, I'll try to stop them, Mr. Levin. Now, come on,
No,
out.
it's all right. It's all right. The inspector and I are old friends. Freddie, I don't want to be disturbed.
All right.
Freddie, I don't want any interruptions. You understand?
Perfectly, Mr. Levin.
Well, this is nice, Inspector. Sit down, and your colleague. Here, cigar?
I'm only a sergeant, Sammy. Sergeants don't smoke cigars. Gives them ideas about their station.
Cigarette, then, eh? Help yourself. Go on, take some for later.
One's enough, thanks. Kilburn?
Oh, ta. So, to what do I owe the pleasure? You want to open an account? I can do it very discreetly.
Our superiors don't like us wasting our bribe money on gambling, Sammy. I'm here on official business.
Official business?
What's up? You've gone white as a sheet. Got one of your crooked deals on?
Such a straight face, you'd swear he means it. Now, how can I help you?
You got a client called Keith Tyson?
The MP's son. Nice boy.
He's not a nice boy, Sammy. He's a spoilt, lazy, loudmouthed yob.
If you say so. I like him. Do me something.
Is he a client of yours?
Oh, he has the odd bet.
Does he win?
Would I say I liked him if he won? He's a born loser. Anyone want a drink?
No. When he loses, does he pay his debts?
Eventually. Sometimes I have to jog his memory.
What's that mean? You put a horse's head in his bed, break his arm?
What a wonderful thing is the sense of humour. Just nudge him. Remind him of his responsibilities.
Someone killed his dog. Smashed up his car.
Oh, that's terrible.
Was it you?
What, for a lousy 20 quid? That's all he owes me. He gambles at the Blue Diamond. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Well, I suggest you try there. Smashing cars, killing Alsatians. That's their style, not mine.
I never said it was an Alsatian.
You don't have to say. I've seen it in his car. Don't want to be disturbed.
Mr. Levitt?
I said I didn't want to be
Constable
disturbed.
Harding.
Oh, sorry. Didn't know anyone was here.
You looking for me, lad?
No, Sarge. It's nothing. Sorry.
What's he doing here?
He's a customer. He has the odd bet.
The betting shop's out there.
I deal with him personally. A little favour. Your people don't take kindly to police in betting shops.
I don't take kindly to young cops mixing with crooks like you. Discourage him.
Of course, Mr. Slade. You know me. Always like to keep on the right side of the law.
Our next call should have been the Blue Diamond, but on the way there, Control diverted us to a large transport cafe to interview a driver whose lorry had been stolen from the cafe car park. There were plenty of other lorries the thieves could have taken, but they seemed to have deliberately picked out this one. Rather strange, as the load was of hardly any value. It contained 10 tons of sand for a builder's merchant. It wasn't until much later that we realised the significance.
10 tons of flaming sand, Sergeant. Is that what I'm supposed to spend my time on?
I'm sorry, Bill. But they can't all be the great train robber. Anyway, I had no one else to send. We've had an epidemic of lorry pinching. Delta 2 are out at Harlan's garage. Driver coshed in the gents and his lorry hijacked.
What was it carrying? Cement?
Actually, it was bales of hay.
Bales, hay and sand? Must be some deep significance in that. But I'm damned if I can see it.
Perhaps someone's breeding seahorses, Sergeant.
I can do with less of that, thank you, Constable.
Sorry.
Keep an eye on that one, Tom. He gambles.
I know.
Then put a stop to it.
It's difficult. He puts bets on for Mr. Hackman as well.
He can't win. Everything laid on for tonight?
Yes, every available man.
You've staggered the times of arrival? I don't want them all turning up at the hypermarket at once like crowds at a football match.
We have done this sort of thing before, you know. Any joy at Sammy's?
No. He reckons Keith Tyson did his gambling at the Blue Diamond.
You're not going there yourself, are you?
Why shouldn't I? Because of my daughter, you mean?
Send someone else. Why stir up bad memories?
A whole rotten town's a bad memory.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I go there? Do you know something?
There's nothing to know. A straightforward case of hit and run.
Then why did Hackman move Eddie Coco away from his digs?
Superintendent's orders. Didn't want you to be sidetracked from the job in hand.
And why is the file locked away in confidential records? Why shouldn't I see it, if there's nothing to hide?
Same reason, I expect.
I want to borrow the key, Tom.
No.
Quarter of an hour. 10 minutes. No one will ever know. I've got to see that file.
No way, Bill. I'm sorry. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off for my tea, lad. Harding, mind the shop.
But as it happened, Sergeant Slade didn't need the key to get into confidential records. As he passed it a few minutes later, he noticed it was unlocked.
Hello?
Who's that?
Harding. What are you doing here?
Putting some stuff away for Mr. Hackman. You shouldn't be in here, Sarge.
Neither should you, Constable. Not on your own. How'd you get in?
Borrowed the key from Sergeant Milner's keyring.
Does he know?
No. I should have put these papers back yesterday, but I forgot. You won't tell on me, will you, Sarge?
As long as you don't tell on me, Constable. Now, keep watch outside. And if anyone comes, yell.
Yeah. Yes, sure, I'll tell him. Another stolen lorry. Empty this time.
Perhaps it's the lorries they want, not the loads.
So, what was in your daughter's file?
Just straightforward details of a hit and run. Like everyone's been at pains to tell me.
You satisfied now?
It was a very thin file. Almost as if some of the papers had been removed. But perhaps I've got a nasty, suspicious little mind. Going to be up all night with this hypermarket stakeout. Let's get some sleep. Pick me up about 10.
I picked him up as ordered, but he didn't want to go directly to the stakeout. First, we had to call at the Blue Diamond.
Been here before?
Couldn't afford it.
Oop, look out.
Good evening, gentlemen. You all on your own? You looking for company?
Shovels.
I beg your pardon.
You heard, darling. Shove off, or I'll run you in for soliciting.
Having trouble, miss?
Ah, the heavy squad. Who are you, a pimp?
I work here, sir. I keep out undesirables. You members?
No. We want to see Mr. Warner.
Supposing he doesn't want to see you.
Supposing you get out of my way.
Take your hands off me. I'm asking you to leave. Oh!
That's for obstructing a police officer in the lawful execution of his duty.
You never said you was police.
Showed you my warrant card, didn't I, Constable?
Minute we came in, Sergeant.
Wait here. I'll let Mr. Warner know.
What a pleasant surprise, Mr. Slade. I thought you'd left Denton for good.
My absence was making too many people happy, so they called me back.
Must be 2 years. Tragic. Just tragic. Can I get you gentlemen a drink?
Why not? I'll have a whiskey.
Constable?
Yeah, fine. Whiskey.
Then I'll join you. 3 large whiskies, Harry, from my special bottle.
Yes, Mr. Warner.
What's that bandage round your wrist, Harry?
Cut myself.
Oh. Only if it's a dog bite, you should get it cauterized. They reckon Alsatian's teeth are simply running with germs.
Don't know what you're talking about. Soda if you want it, and ice.
Thank you, Harry. So, what can I do for you, Sergeant? You want to try your luck? I can make you both temporary members, if you like.
That wouldn't be strictly legal, would it? And talking of legalities, my colleague and I were solicited as we came in here.
Solicited? Do you know anything about this, Harry?
Well, I saw the hostess approach the gentleman. I didn't hear the conversation.
Hostess? She's Maureen Kelly. £5 a time in the back of your car. We've run her in hundreds of times.
I never would have believed it. Her references were impeccable. She goes, Harry, tonight. I'm not having her give this place a bad name.
I'll see to it.
I called about something else, actually. Is Keith Tyson a member?
Yes. Why? Shouldn't he be?
Does he gamble much?
When he's got the money, which isn't very often.
I heard he owes you a bomb, and to encourage him to pay, you smashed his car and killed his dog.
His dog? Oh, so that's the reason for all this talk about dog bites. Show him your wrist, Harry. Go on. Take the bandages off. Show him.
There. All right. So it's a cut. Perhaps you killed it before it bit you.
Mr. Slade, Keith Tyson has a £100 credit limit, a strict limit. He's not allowed to exceed it. Now, I'm hardly likely to go around smashing cars for a lousy £100 now, am I? Especially as his father's a member. I suggest you try Sammy Levin.
We did. He suggested we tried the other crook in the town, so we came to you. You get a good view from up here, don't you?
Good view of what? The main road?
You saw it happen, didn't you?
Yes. Terrible business. I had nightmares for a week. I just happened to glance out. She didn't give that driver a chance, Mr. Slade. Ran straight out in front of him. Almost dived under his wheels. He was shaking like a leaf afterwards.
Who was?
The driver. I thought he was going to pass out.
In your statement to Mr. Hackman, you said that the car that hit her didn't stop. So how do you know the driver was shaking like a leaf?
You're quite right, of course. Funny how the memory plays tricks. He didn't stop.
You're a bloody liar.
My word of honor.
You're choking me.
Sergeant.
You're lying. You're damn well lying.
Harry!
Leave him alone. Oh!
Sergeant! Sergeant!
Wait outside, Kilburn. I don't want you involved. The truth now, Warner. You saw that driver, didn't you?
No.
Who was he?
What the hell's going on?
Oh, surprise, surprise. Mr. Hackman, all tidied up in evening dress.
My wife and I are dining here. I asked what was going on.
Your dear friend Jack was about to volunteer some information about the cover-up.
I was trying to explain to the sergeant that I have no knowledge of the driver of that car.
I think you'd better go, Sergeant.
Now, come on, Kilburn. Let's get some fresh air. There's suddenly a very nasty smell in here.
We had a job finding our car. A thin mist had turned to thick fog, which would make the stakeout at the hypermarket that much more difficult. But it did help conceal the 40-plus men we had hidden about the place. We settled down and waited.
What time is it?
3:05.
Damn fog.
Well, it's not getting any worse. Hey,
I can see someone moving on the roof.
Where? It's one of our damn marksmen. Johnson, we can see you.
Sorry, Sarge. Over.
Did Tyson's ad go in the Denton Echo?
Yeah. Want to see a copy?
No, I know what it says. What time is it?
You just asked. It's 3:06 now.
Doesn't time fly when you're enjoying yourself?
Tango 6 to Mother Hen.
Come in, Tango 6.
Vehicle approaching North Road. Looks like a small van, over.
Thank you, Tango 6. Mother Hen to all units. Maximum alert. Small van approaching. Over and out. Here we go, then.
Tango 6 to Mother Hen.
Yes, Tango 6.
Suspect vehicle identified as garage breakdown truck. Turned off at a slip road. Over.
Thank you, Tango 6. Mother Hen to all units. False alarm. Vehicle identified as breakdown truck. Over and out.
Oh. Still plenty of time for them to come.
If they come. In the meantime, Denton's an open city.
Well, that's the risk you have to take when you deploy maximum force in one location.
Did they teach you that at trading college?
Lesson number 1.
I must remember that when the super throws me to the wolves tomorrow.
Control to Sergeant Slade. Come in, please. Urgent. Over.
That sounds like trouble. Slade?
Armed robbery. Johnson's Pharmaceutical Supplies. Details still coming in. Over.
We're on our way. Mother Hen to Tangos 3 and 6. Armed robbery. Johnson's Pharmaceutical Supplies. Follow me. The rest of you stay here. Sergeant Crabbe will take charge. Acknowledge.
Crabbe, acknowledged. Over.
I knew it. Right the other side of town. Get your foot down, Kilburn. This isn't a funeral.
It will be if I go any faster. This fog's worse.
Tangos 3 and 6. When we reach the junction, we split up. You turn right and approach from the southern access. We'll turn left, use the northern approach. Understood?
Tango 3, roger. Tango 6, roger.
Approaching the junction, Sergeant.
Get ready to... There's something in the road. Kilburn, look out!
God almighty. You all right, Sarge?
Yeah. What did we hit?
A lorry. There's 2 of them slewed across the road, blocking the junction. Looks as though there's been an accident.
Any sign of the drivers?
No, Sarge.
Can we get round them?
No chance. They've shed the load. A right mess. It'll take a couple of hours to clear it.
What are the loads?
Bales of hay and about 10 tons of sand. It's all over the road.
This is no accident. We've been set up.
Aye.
We've been damn well set up.
We couldn't get past, so had to backtrack and take the old Denton Road, which bypassed the junction. By the time we reached Johnson's, the robbers were well away.
Good of you to come.
We hit trouble. What happened?
Well, if you'd bloody well been here on time, nothing would have happened. We pay a bomb to have an alarm installed in the police station just to prevent this sort of thing.
All right. We know how inefficient we are. What we don't know is what happened.
Just after 3:05, a lorry comes roaring up the approach road. We expect it to stop at the gates, but it doesn't.
Were the gates closed?
Of course they were closed and locked. This is an open house. But it charges at them and smashes through. All the alarms go off. 3 men jump out, 2 with pickaxe handles, 1 with a shotgun.
What do they look like?
Well, 2 look like Mickey Mouse, and 1 like Donald Duck. They had these kids' plastic masks on.
Clothes?
Boiler suits, blue. Anyway, they fire the shotgun in the air and yell that the first to move gets it in the face. They nip over to the loaded van, climb inside, and they're away. It couldn't have taken more than a minute. They left the lorry. It's over there if you want to see it.
We know all about it. It was stolen earlier today. What'd they get away with?
Drugs, barbiturates, amphetamine, morphine, street value well in excess of £1 million.
I want a detailed list.
You've got a copy on your files. We always let you know when we're moving stuff like this so we can be sure our alarm calls are answered promptly.
Sergeant, this is Mr. Bedwell, the night mechanic. We could be in luck. But tell the sergeant.
Well, I don't know whether they intend driving that van, but they're not going to get very far. There's a hole in the radiator you can put your fist in. Our driver had a prang.
Oh, you were supposed to change it.
Well, I couldn't get one. The garage was going to rush a replacement rad in for first thing in the morning. I was going to do it then. Anyway, they won't get far before the engine seizes up.
How far?
Well, I don't know. The rad's bone dry. 5 miles, say. Perhaps less. I don't know.
Kilburn, get on the radio. I want everyone away from the hypermarket and out looking for that van.
Sergeant Slade, the superintendent wants you at the station.
Oh, doesn't bad news travel fast?
So, exactly what I feared had happened. While all the division are twiddling their thumbs at the hypermarket, our villains are stealing £1 million worth of drugs.
Not the same men, sir. The bank robbers were amateurs. These were professionals.
Whoever they were, we should have been able to stop them. If there's an inquiry, Slade, I shall make it absolutely clear where the blame lies.
Thank you, sir. I knew I could rely on your support. Sergeant Milner?
Yes?
Seeing as how I'm not allowed in confidential records, do you think someone could get me the Johnson's pharmaceutical file?
Sarcasm goes right over my head. Won't be long.
Tango 3's found the van, Sarge.
Where?
Selby Street. Side turning off the main road, about 3 miles from Johnson's.
Too much to hope the load's still intact.
All gone, except for a couple of boxes. But we've got a witness.
What?
Old boy named Perkis lives at number 4 Selby Street. Noise woke him up. Looked out of his window, saw 3 blokes pushing the van.
It must have broken down on the main road. Go on.
Well, according to him, one man went off, returned about half an hour later, driving a small brown pickup.
Did he get the registration number?
Well, he thinks there was a 6 in it, but he's not sure. Anyway, they load up the pickup and off it goes. 20 minutes later, it's back.
The same pickup?
Yeah. They load it up again, all get aboard and drive off. But this time, they don't come back.
20 minutes to get there, offload and get back. Yeah, chuck us that map.
Right.
Now then. There's Selby Street.
Yeah.
10 minutes to offload. That's 5 minutes there, 5 minutes back. Speed?
Well, not too fast. They wouldn't want to attract attention. Say 40 at the outside.
40 in 5 minutes. They travel about 3 miles.
Yeah.
So that stuff's got to be stashed away within this tight little circle here.
Well, there's not many likely places. Assuming they've got it under cover.
Under cover and lock and key. It's worth a fortune. What they want is a big, isolated, lonely house standing in its own extensive grounds. Somewhere like that.
Oxley Grange? Who lives there?
Who could afford to live in a place like that apart from a bookmaker?
Sammy Levin.
You've named that crook in one. Come in.
The Johnson's file, Sergeant.
No, don't go, Harding. Might want to pick your brains. Get yourself a cup of tea, would you, Kilburn?
Canteen's closed.
Then go and make yourself one.
Oh, right, yeah, will do.
Sit down. Someone's been dropping me in it, Harding.
Oh?
Yeah. Passing inside information to the opposition. Cigarette?
I don't smoke, thanks.
Do you drink?
Not much.
So, gambling's your only vice?
Oh, you mean this afternoon? I only have the odd bet. 50p's my limit.
Wouldn't have thought you'd have to sneak up to Sammy's private office just to stick a 50p bet on.
The super doesn't approve of us using the betting shops. Bad for our image.
Ha! The image. And what an untarnished image this division has. There's drugs robbery. They knew exactly what they were after. 4 loaded vans, but they went straight. They ignored the alarms because they knew we'd taken their bait. Now, where did they get their information from?
No idea, Sarge.
Haven't you? When we met in the confidential records room, what were you doing with this file? The Johnson's Pharmaceuticals file.
I told you. Mr. Hackman had asked me to put it back, but I forgot.
If I asked Mr. Hackman, would he confirm that?
Of course.
Right. Means waking him up, but let's put it to the test.
I'll tell him about you going in there for your daughter's file.
Are you threatening me, Harding? How long have you been passing stuff to Sammy Levin?
This was the only time, Sergeant. I swear it, the only time.
Tell me about it.
I owe him a lot of money. He holds my IOUs for nearly 500 quid.
5:30 in the morning, and we were outside Sammy Levin's house. Whatever Harding had told him, Slade was keeping it to himself. He just told me to come with him. And here we were, creeping like thieves through the mist towards a ground floor window.
You any good at breaking and entering?
Hey?
See how quietly you can smash that window? Not your hand, the torch. Now, reach inside for the catch. Careful.
We ducked behind some bushes and waited. A light came on upstairs. Then another light in the room with the broken window. Slade motioned for me to follow, and we made our way to the front door.
Open up in there.
Who is it?
Police. Detective Sergeant Slade.
Hold on.
As soon as he opens up, slip inside and start looking round. I'll keep him talking.
Right.
Hello, Sammy.
Well, what do you want?
Well, my colleague and I were passing. We heard the alarm.
Oh, it's all right. They broke the window. They didn't get in.
Ah, we better make sure. Don't look so worried, Sammy. You're safe. The police are here. Through there, is it? After you, Constable. Ah, nice room. Mind the broken glass.
Here, what does he think he's doing? Leave those drawers alone.
Making sure nothing's been pinched, Sammy. Can't we have that damn alarm off? It's getting on my nerves.
I'll do it later.
Do it now, Sammy. It's an offence to let it ring on like that.
The switch is downstairs. I'll do it when you've gone.
Sergeant, look what I found.
Ooh, a Mickey Mouse mask. What's this then, Sammy?
Oh, for the children. We have parties.
Oh, you've a heart of gold, Sammy. So where's the switch for this alarm?
There's a strong room downstairs. The switch is inside.
Locked inside the strong room? So a burglar can't get to it and turn it off? That's clever. Who advised you to do that?
Your crime prevention officer.
Ah, so that's why we got details of it in our files. Lots of interesting stuff in our files, Sammy. Switch it off.
Well, wait here then.
And let you go downstairs unprotected? Ooh, wouldn't dream of it. Lead the way.
You can't make me open my strong room. You haven't got a warrant.
Shall I wait here while my colleague goes and gets one?
You bastard. You know, don't you?
Yes.
I'd like to talk to you on your own.
Yes, I think we should talk. Pop upstairs for a minute, will you, Kilburn?
If you say so, Sergeant.
Well, can we do a deal?
You're reading my thoughts.
1,000 quid cash. You looked inside the strong room, you saw nothing.
You wouldn't insult Mr. Hackman with a lousy 1,000. What makes you think I come so cheap?
5,000 in fivers.
Not the sort of deal I had in mind, Sammy. Police Constable Harding.
What about him?
I don't want him to go to prison.
So?
So, let me have his IOUs back. Keep your mouth shut about where you got your inside information from.
You coppers stick together, don't you?
He's young, Sammy, and he's stupid. But that's all. You used him and he let you. He's not fit to be a copper, and I'll see he resigns. But I don't want him to go to prison.
Yeah, what's in it for me?
I'll drop the bribery and corruption charge.
And will you make it easier for me with this other business?
No. Is it a deal?
10,000?
No.
Why the hell did you have to come back, Mr. Slade? All right, it's a deal. Where's that switch?
Good Lord, Mr. Levin. What on earth have you got in there? Boxes, boxes, boxes. All labelled Johnson's Pharmaceuticals.
I have no idea how they got there. I'm not saying a word until I talk to my solicitor.
Kilburn, come down and caution the gentleman, would you?
Yes, sir. We're still holding your property. You can pick it up when you like. No, sir, we don't deliver.
Morning, Tom.
Phil.
Yes?
Super wants to see you in his office. The minute you came in, he said. You look furious. Mr. Hackman's with him.
Oh, hell.
What have you been up to?
Well, you know, I went to the Blue Diamond last night.
Yes.
Well, I had a punch-up with Warner just as Hackman walked in.
You deliberately flouted my orders. I made it perfectly clear your daughter's case is over and done with.
Not to me, it isn't.
I'm talking, Sergeant. You weren't brought back to pursue private vendettas. You were brought back to help find 2 armed bandits. May I ask what progress you've made in that direction?
None, sir.
Can't hear you, Sergeant.
None, sir.
Precisely. What's the position with Warner, Inspector? Is he preferring charges?
That was his intention. I managed to talk him out of it. But he wants Slade to stay away from his club.
We can make certain of that. It's your last day at court, right?
That's right, sir.
Then it's your last day with us, Slade. It didn't work out. You return to county first thing in the morning.
We spent the next couple of hours tying up the loose ends on the drugs robbery. Until the phone rang, we hadn't given a thought to the Tyson kidnapping.
Slade? Ah, good morning, Mr. Tyson. Have they made contact? What? Why? I'm entitled to know why. Hello? Hello? Kilburn, get the car out.
What's happened?
That's what we're going to find out. Tyson says he's not going to cooperate anymore. He wants us off the case.
I thought I'd made myself perfectly clear. I want no more police involvement.
Get them out!
No one saw us, Mrs. Tyson. We came in the back way.
No one saw you. That's what you keep telling us, but you were seen. The kidnappers know all about you. They even know about the notes being marked.
They can't know.
Well, they damn well do. There's your bleeper. And you can forget about the marked notes. I'm changing them at the bank. They won't be used.
It's your duty to cooperate.
Our duty's to our son. Now, please, go.
Not until you tell me what brought on this sudden change of mind.
While I was out this morning, 2 men burst in here, manhandled my wife, threatened her with a knife, and said they knew we'd brought in the police. They knew about the marked notes and the radio bleeper.
They said they'd kill Keith if we didn't do exactly what they wanted. They held a knife to my throat.
She passed out, and I found her lying on the floor.
Can you describe them?
I'm not saying any more.
Did they leave instructions for the handing over of the ransom?
Yes.
I want to know them.
Forget it, Sergeant. I'm not discussing this any further. Now, would you kindly leave the way you came in?
How the hell did they find out about the notes and the bleeper?
Harding?
God, I hope not.
So, we drop the case?
Do we, hell? We watch that house 24 hours a day. We follow Tyson wherever he goes.
We watched Tyson. He went to the bank and changed the money, taking home £10,000 in unmarked notes. We watched and waited. He stayed indoors. It wasn't until nearly midnight that anything happened.
Can't you keep him quiet, Constable? It's nearly midnight.
Shut up!
I ate drunks more than anything.
I ate Hackman first, drunks next. Oh, God, I'm tired. Had about 5 hours sleep in 2 days.
Well, then why are you hanging about here? Go home to bed, man. You're off in the morning anyway.
Kilburn to control. Kilburn to control.
He's supposed to be off duty. Control, come in, Kilburn.
Is Mr. Slade there, Sarge? It's urgent.
I'm here. What's happening?
The payout, I think. Tyson's getting into his car. He's got the money back with him.
Stick to him like glue and keep in touch. I'll join you as soon as I can. Over and out.
Have you gone mad? We were warned off, man. The super assured Tyson we'd stay away. If anything happens to his son, he'll be crucified.
Over there. That advertising hoarding. As he approached it, he slowed down, chucked out the bag, then drove straight on.
All clever stuff. This is near enough. We now wait for someone to pick it up.
And we better check the money's in there.
Too risky. Besides, it's got to be.
Could be a bluff. We're left watching a bag stuffed with old newspapers while Tyson speeds off to the real rendezvous.
You are a cheerful little soul, aren't you? Why should he bother with a bluff? He said he didn't know you were following him.
Well, I could be wrong.
All right. We'll take a look. No. No. Somebody coming.
How many of them are there?
This damn rain. I can't see. Only one, I think. Good God. Quick, before she gets back in. All right. Hold it right there.
Sergeant Slade.
Where's your manners, Constable? Take the bag from the lady.
You won't tell my husband. Oh, please, don't tell my husband.
Suppose we get in the car, Mrs. Tyson, and talk about it. God. Put them in the interview room. I'll be back in a minute.
Right. Come on, you two.
Sergeant, we need a doctor.
Right. That was young Keith Tyson, wasn't it?
And friend.
What's he done to his face?
Had an accident. Where's his mother?
Gone home.
What?
Inspector Hackman let her go.
Hackman?
Get out of my office.
I'll get out when I'm ready. Where's Mrs. Tyson?
I sent her home. Her son here?
Yes.
Good. I'll drive him back.
You what?
Family matter, nothing to do with us. He was in trouble with gambling debts. Too scared to go to his father, so he faked his own kidnap for the ransom money.
With his mother's help. Oh, she really took me in. All those tears. The story of the 2 thugs roughing her up.
Anyway, I've spoken to Mr. Tyson. He requests that we take no further action, and I've agreed.
Bet that cost him a packet.
Get out.
Don't spend it, because you're going to have to give it back. Keith Tyson is going to stand trial.
Cap.
Excuse me, Inspector. Sergeant Slade. Doctor's on his way.
Thanks.
Who's the doctor for?
Keith Tyson.
You beaten him up. You bloody fool. You always were too free with your fists.
His injuries are where the woman chucked a bottle at him in the bank.
The bank?
Yes. Keith Tyson and his student friend are our bank robbers. It was only when that failed that they decided on the fake kidnap.
I don't believe you.
He was hiding at his friend's flat. When we searched it, We found these.
Guns?
A shotgun and a .22 Ruger. The shotgun's still got a cartridge up the spout.
Well, don't point it at me. The safety catch is off.
Mrs. Tyson offered to do a deal with me. Let her son off, and she'd tell me who killed my daughter.
She didn't know what she was saying. Look, don't point that gun at me.
Wouldn't it be a tragedy if it went off accidentally? As you sent Mrs. Tyson home, you better tell me. Who killed Sally? How much did he pay you to let him go scot-free?
You'd be happier not knowing.
Would I? Try me.
All right. Yes, I did take a statement from the driver. He'd been drinking. But even if he was stone cold sober, there was no way he could have avoided hitting her. She ran straight under his wheels. She didn't even give him a chance. The other witnesses swore to that.
People saw it? You even had witnesses?
Warner at the Blue Diamond and one of his sidekicks.
It was Tyson, wasn't it? Our Law and Order MP. It was him, wasn't it?
No. He was parked outside the club. Sally was in his car.
What was she doing in Tyson's car?
You really want to know?
Yes.
She picked him up.
She picked him up? Is that what the lying bastard said? Out of my way.
Where do you think you're going?
To find Tyson. To break every bone in his body.
Yes, your remedy for everything. Sit down and listen for a change. All this swearing vengeance. How much of it is guilty conscience, eh?
What do you mean?
How well did you know Sally?
What sort of a question is that? She was my daughter, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Well, how could you know her? You were hardly ever at home. The good cop, the job came first. Your wife and your daughter, a poor second. Did you know that she was on heroin?
Sally?
Yeah. Yeah, she was pumped full of it when she ran under that car. Never knew what hit her. And how did she get the money to pay for the stuff? She was a prostitute. A 17-year-old junkie prostitute.
I don't want to hear any more.
Her beat was outside the Blue Diamond. Tyson would have been her third client that night. He'd left her in his car while he phoned his wife to say he'd been unavoidably detained. When he came back, Sally was giving herself a quick fix with the hypo. Well, this was too much even for Tyson. He yelled at her to get out. She grabbed the door handle and plunged right into the path of an oncoming car.
Go on.
Well, there's not much more. I took statements but tore them up. I had to pull quite a few strings to make sure it didn't go any further. Too many people would have been hurt. Tyson, who'd picked up a teenage prostitute. The driver of the other car, who was well over the limit. And you.
Me?
You idolised her. You wouldn't have wanted the truth to come out in public.
You say you did this for me?
We look after our own. Didn't you look after P.C. Harding?
What?
Yes, I know about that.
I don't believe a word. Not one single word. She was my daughter. I knew her. She'd never... Not Sally. It's all a pack of lies, isn't it? It was just a straightforward hit and run.
Yeah. Yes, that's what it was. Hackman. What? When? I see, thank you. The hospital. P.C. Roberts, the driver of the car they shot at, died 5 minutes ago. You'd better get back to your prisoners.
Yes. I'd better get back.
Denton, please. Yes, I see. And you believe he's still on the premises? No, sir, on no account go inside. You wait, then we'll send a car over.
That was Cover Up by R.D. Wingfield, with Andrew Burt as Detective Constable Kilburn, David Sinclair as Detective Sergeant Slade, and David Garth as Detective Inspector Hackman. Police Superintendent Warren was played by Jack Mackenzie, Police Sergeant Milner by Philip Rowlands, Police Constable Harding by Guy Holden, and Detective Constable Gordon by Steve Hodson. George Tyson by William Edel, Joan Tyson by Gwen Sherrill, Betty by Narissa Knights, Harry Rawlings by James Carey, Bedwell by Michael McStay, Warner by Martin Reed, Arnold Porter by John Forbes Robertson, Sammy by Arnold Diamond, The Bouncer by Nicholas Courtney, and The Woman Customer in the Bank by Mia Soterio. Other parts were played by members of the cast. Cover Up was directed by David Johnston.
Right.
The Persian Lesson by Michael Campbell, with Steve Hodson as Detective Inspector Tom Tanner.
Half an hour.
Hello, Charlie.
Tom Tanner. Oh, a bit off your patch, aren't you?
My patch is the universe, Charlie. How are you keeping?
As well as could be expected under the circumstances. As they say. What brings you up north, then? Promotion?
Ooh, change of scene. How's Gladys?
Oh, she didn't fancy it up here. Can't blame her. How long have you been in these parts?
A few months. I wish I'd known.
Nothing you could have done. How did you find me?
You're in the files, aren't you? What's all this? Abandoned camps. Pineapple breasts untouched. Camels too young to die in battle. Boys grown hairy. Stallions lost. Poetry, Charlie?
Persian. You need time for this sort of stuff. And I've got time, haven't I? Surprised?
Nothing surprises me.
I'm doing an open university course. Courtesy of the Queen.
You're in a closed university here, though, aren't you, eh? University of Crime. Not that they're going to teach you anything you don't know. Oh, you should have listened to me, shouldn't you? I told you. Once on the books, always on the books.
I was shocked.
No, you weren't. A fraud squad had you in their sights from the day you set up, and you know it.
Who told them I came north?
You're in the computer, Charlie.
Bloody technology. Put you in the bloody computer at birth now, do they? Just in case. Have you come here for a purpose?
Oh, I nearly forgot. I think they're the kind you like. Ooh. You did all right, didn't you? 400 grand, was it?
You brought my favourite cigars. Well, that's kind. That's very kind.
400. Fraud squad found 2. So, what happened to the rest?
Go on, have one.
Yeah, no, I've got someone waiting.
Oh, well. Suit yourself.
Don't get me wrong. If the commercials can find it, good luck to them. If they can't, good luck to you. Not my province. We've all got to think of our old age, haven't we?
Yeah, they don't make coppers like you anymore.
They don't promote them either.
Oh, like that, is it? Tom, I was milked. The bastards took half my take. Fraud squad got the leavings, and that's the truth.
Sharks about with her.
They cleaned me out.
You know who they are?
Not really. Not for sure.
Took 200 grand off you and you don't know who they are. Am I supposed to believe that?
Doesn't make much odds now.
Oh, come on, Charlie.
They say the Lord has a long arm, don't they? Well, his arm's a damn sight longer. I'm not easily scared, Tom. But he scares me.
Who does? Who are we talking about? Which Swiss bank did you put it in, Charlie?
If you want to believe that.
Then give me something. Names, dates, contacts, method of payment.
Laundered through Madrid.
Who was your contact?
They used a frontman. fixer called Smokey. Huh? They got me sewn up, Tom. Knew more about my organisation than I knew myself.
Do you know who this Smokey is?
Voice on a tape, that's all. Tape, then telephone. Just a voice.
On tape?
Through the post, with instructions to use a public call box, fixed times.
Yeah.
Fraud squad have got me wired up, haven't they? And they knew that. How did they know that, Tom?
What exactly are you telling me?
I'm telling you, they had information which they couldn't have got from outside.
Outside? What do you mean?
I mean, from outside the force, that's what I mean.
Just how sure about this are you, Charlie?
You did me a good turn once. Now, do me another. I know I can't ask you to forget what I just said, but there are some people you don't mess with.
You haven't changed, have you?
Strictly off the record. Officially, I haven't said anything, right? You haven't even been to see me.
If that's how you want it. What sort of reading this? 'Tis all a checkerboard of nights and days, where destiny with men for pieces plays, hither and thither moves, and mates and slays, and one by one in the closet lays. Bit philosophical, isn't it?
You'll go cautious, won't you? With what I just said.
You find this stuff interesting? What's it all about?
Love. Death. You think about things like that in here.
Double 2407.
That was a smart piece of work of yours last week, Major. Very neat and tidy.
I beg your pardon?
Ormskirk. I'm talking about Ormskirk. 75 grand, was it? Very clean. We admire your style.
Who is this?
The Scrubs, 79. We had some nice long chats, if you recall.
Who are you?
The name's Smokey. I work for the Colonel.
What do you want?
You have a particular talent, Major. We would like to use that talent and your special knowledge.
What special knowledge?
Logistics, transportation, railways. You'd be in charge of your own unit, of course.
Who recruits?
We recruit.
What do you want me to do?
What was he up to, this Charlie of yours?
Long-firm fraud. He set up a nice little business exporting luxury goods. Yeah, whiskey, cigarettes, electronic stuff, that kind of thing. I had a warehouse near the docks, collected the stuff in and then shipped it out a load at a time. He ran the firm straight for a year or two, until his credit was good. He was even making a profit. And then he sold a few big loads he hadn't paid for and cleared out.
Where did he go wrong?
Surveillance. C6 had him in their sights from the start. Charlie's just an old-fashioned crook. It never occurred to him that once he was on the books, he'd stay there, even if he moved from one end of the country to the other. Oh, we're all on a file somewhere, Molly.
How did he move the stuff?
It's a road haulage outfit, Benillo and Son. Used their warehouse. It backs up against the railway, somewhere off Bank Hill. Now, they are an old established firm, straight as a die. He hadn't a clue what was going on.
So what do we do now?
I'll tell you what I'd like to do. I would like to take you on a picnic. Somewhere in the mountains. Oh, I haven't been on a picnic for years.
Not quite sure how to take that.
Why? Because you're black? Because I'm old enough to be your father? Or because I'm your... Oh, bloody hell. We are all trapped in some kind of net, aren't we?
You're a strange person, Tom.
I knew Charlie when he's weak, he's devious, he's a dreamer. Maybe we all need dreams. Do you know he's taken to reading Persian bloody poetry?
Sounds interesting.
I think it's time you met Nat.
Nat?
Inspector Nathaniel Rimmer. He's our intelligence wizard. He'll introduce you to Midas.
And what's Midas when it's at home?
A fancy piece of software on the police national computer. MIDAS. Multiple Interface Database Access System. It's all part of preemptive policing. That's what dished Charlie.
Criminal records, you
No. It's more than that. Let us suppose you are sleeping with the Minister of Defence. Keen Bobby spots your car outside his country residence in Surrey and gives the number to his collator, who stores it away in the computer. And 3 weeks later, another Bobby spots your car outside a C&D meeting in Yorkshire, passes the number on to his collator. With the aid of Midas, they can trace that car number through every file in the system. Whether it's been in an accident, lost, stolen, or parked outside a private house in Farnham.
I don't fancy the Minister of Defence.
As a detective, your job is to pass on to our collator every little detail you turn up, every sniff that twitches your nostrils. And in turn, he'll give you any information you need. Provided that it hasn't been cornered by the CIB, the Specials, or MI5. Who do you fancy?
MI5? You'll be telling me next it's got a line to the CIA or the KGB.
No, I wouldn't know. I don't think anybody does. It's a compartmentalised system, see?
What does that mean?
It means the software was programmed by several different groups who wouldn't have known what the others were doing, or even how their own program was going to be used. That makes it a secure system. No one person knows what's inside, or who is watching who.
You don't sound as...
I'm an old-fashioned detective, Molly. Perhaps that's why I like Charlie. Yeah, this is high-tech stuff. It is not the world I was born into. It's your world now, and you're welcome to it.
Thanks.
We'll pay Nat a visit tomorrow morning. Oh, shut up. Oh, Molly. Don't say anything about my little visit to Charlie, will you? Not to anybody. Just between me and you for the moment. All right.
Sure. If you say so.
Yeah. See you in the club tonight. You might hear Nat performing. He's quite something.
Hello?
Would I be speaking to Mr. Harry Reginter Chowdhury?
That is me, yes, speaking.
Got away with it, didn't you, Harry?
I'm sorry? Who am I speaking to?
Where did you get your papers from, Harry?
Papers? Please. I do not know what you mean.
Oh, I think you do.
Who is this, please?
Your name wouldn't mean anything to you, so shall we just say a friend?
What is it you are wanting?
We have a little job for you.
Someone told me that if it hadn't been for some accident, he would have been a chief superintendent now. What's happened?
He had an argument with a stolen car. He used to do a lot of undercover work, infiltration stuff. Bust one of the biggest drug rings in this area. Now he does it all sitting at his computer. He knows more about the villains in this part of the world. Lena!
Hiya.
Nat's on form this evening.
Had a bad day. Always improves with playing.
Molly, this is Lena. Lena works in the collator's office with Nat.
Hello. Hello.
Molly's assigned to me for training.
So weird. Been keeping you to himself, has he?
I've only been here since last week.
Well, you like working with Tom. He's a great detective.
Thanks, the police force is a branch of the social service. Hello, Nat.
It is. In a way, isn't it?
Well, someone has to collect the refuse, I suppose. Nat, this is Molly Dearden. I'm pleased to meet you, Constable. You come to learn what real police work is about, have you? You'll find life up here a bit of a change from Farnham, wasn't it?
Guildford. You're quite a musician, Mr. Rimmer.
That's what I keep saying. We've all got to shake out the bugs somehow, haven't we? We don't know how Tom here keeps saying. Bit of a mystery man, our Tom. Guildford. You were born in Guildford, weren't you?
I was born in Camberwell.
Ah, Camberwell beauty. Netted yourself a nice colourful butterfly, haven't you, Tom?
Nat.
Don't mind me, Constable. I get a little acerbic when the wind blows up from the south. Oh, you wouldn't know where the wind's coming from, Nathaniel.
Wouldn't I? I put it down to stress. He spends too long staring at his VDU.
His what?
Visual Display Unit. VDU stress, it's the latest thing. Haven't you heard? We've all got it. They give us extra tea breaks.
There isn't an outside window in Nat's office, Molly. He sees the world through his computer screen. No wonder he thinks it's full of potential subversives, thieves, flashers and forgers, eh, Nathaniel? Villains are just file numbers for you, aren't they? Not real people. Oh, sure. It was just a file number that smashed up my leg, wasn't it?
Glasses seem to be getting a bit empty. Who's drinking what?
I'll do this. Molly, rum and Bacardi.
I'll have half a bitter, if it's all the same to you.
Yes.
Jack Murphy.
Speaking.
You don't know me, Jack, but we have a mutual friend, name of Parker, Charlie Parker. Charlie, as you know, is enjoying a little holiday at Her Majesty's expense. Oh, my name's Smokey, by the by. I think you've heard of me.
I've heard of you.
Good. Saves time. I don't have to spell anything out, do I?
What do you want?
The Colonel would like to make use of your special talents. Aren't you a lucky man?
You're not Rimmer. He gives me the creeps.
Well, you don't have to like him. Just learn from him, huh?
Is it true that this building's been strengthened?
Hardened is the expression. There's a lot of vital information stored in here. These are the command and control computers. The PNC's next door, straight through here.
XTA 378T. Citron Diane. Yellow. Morning, Mr. Tanner.
Morning.
It's plastered with stickers and got a bashed wing.
That figures. Check it out. Are you sightseeing, or have you got something for us?
It's a Manchester address, Nat. J.R. Davis, miss.
Well, then, let's see if we got anything on there. I want to check out a trade name, then. Well, let's have it, then. A fixer called Smokey. Smokey? Has he any... That's all I've got. You, understand the system, do you, Constable?
Not really.
Well, I'm now entering the date, time, operator code, and security classification. Source of request, Detective Inspector Tanner. And we're ready to go.
It's like getting into Fort Knox.
There's a lot of stuff in there. Stolen vehicles, vehicle owners, fingerprints, wanted and missing persons, criminal names, that's the one we're after. Stolen checks, stolen property, modus operandi, disqualified drivers, you name it, we've got it. Not to speak of the fraud stuff and C11, that's criminal intelligence, which includes drugs and immigration. And then, of course, there's the special branch. That's altogether another game. With my dice, I can get at most of this stuff, unless it's classified account. Hello. I think we've gone bird's nesting.
Access code error. Retry. What does that mean?
Think about.
No trace. Does that mean
It means exactly what it says. So either we're chasing moonbeams, or there's a bell ringing somewhere. Damn.
Double 2407.
Major?
Speaking.
You have some news for us?
Well, I had a long chat with...
Facts, Major, not details.
Yes. Well, it worked. I'm in, no problem, for a 2-week trial. I got the run of the place.
Excellent. And how do you like your team?
They seem to know what they're about.
Good. Then we proceed as planned, which means the wasps should be gathering in about 12 hours, unless they're unduly slow off the mark. So, from now on, we communicate as instructed. Understood?
Understood.
Good.
Chief Superintendent Williams, you are expecting me, I think. Palmer.
Ah, yes. Come through.
I don't think we've met.
The Chief Inspector rang half an hour ago. Do sit down. Can I get you something? Tea? Coffee?
No, thank you.
Well, what have you got for us? Something pretty nasty, I gather.
I'm afraid so.
Well, let's know the worst.
You've got a detective inspector called Tanner on your books. Joined the division a few months ago.
Tom Tanner, yes.
Got a bit friendly with the local villains down south.
He was cleared.
He was transferred. Powers that be decided to give him a second chance. Don't believe in second chances myself. Well, we've flagged a few files. Like to keep track of Tanner's villains.
And?
Some weeks ago, he began to get a bit interested in a certain Charlie Parker. Parker tried to pull a fraud job in these parts and came a cropper. Tanner's been combing the files. Now, why should he do that?
If he knows the man?
Tanner came up here at his own request, yes?
Yeah.
At 0925 this morning, he tried to put an inquiry through on the PNC. Set the alarm bells ringing. Oh, did you know about this?
No.
Well, you should have done. The inquiry was about Brian Joseph Anderson, trade name Smokey. Smokey works for the Colonel.
You have brought bad news, haven't you?
Now, why should your Mr. Tanner be interested in the network? Idle curiosity, would you think? Or is something going on up here?
After Gatwick, I'd have thought the Colonel could afford to...
retire to the Costa del Sol. Could be in Siberia for all we know. Or the Pentagon. We know less about the Colonel than we know about the KGB. What we do know is that he's very smart and very dangerous. So what's Tanner playing at?
I didn't think the network got this far north.
Oh, the network goes halfway around the world, Mr. Williams.
You think Tanner might be onto something?
I think we might be onto Tanner.
What do you mean?
You were a liaison officer for Gatwick, weren't you?
I was on the advisory committee.
Yeah, well. The Colonel, as you will recall, goes for bullion. The big stuff. Stuff no other crook can touch. We thought we were a jump ahead of him at Gatwick, but he knew more about what we were doing than we did ourselves. I think it's called a mole, isn't it? In spy stories. We know he's got one. Deep inside the force.
Well, Tanner wasn't involved in Gatwick. Was he?
Oh, not directly, but it was a big operation. A lot of cooperation. And some of the villains came off his patch. Oh, no evidence. Nothing proved. Just a nasty smell.
And you think...
Smokey Joe recruited for Gatwick. We picked that up about a year ago. It was our first real break. But we kept it to ourselves and flagged the file. We figured that if the Colonel used Smokey again, the mole would check him out. Just to find out what we know. We've been waiting for that bell to ring, Mr. Williams, for nearly a year. Now do you see why I am interested in Tanner?
Where did he learn to play like that?
Quite a talent, isn't he? He used to work the clubs, undercover stuff. No one expects a policeman to play like that, do they?
Where's the boss, then?
This lady thinks you're good, Nat.
Stood you up, have they?
He's out on a job.
Doesn't know when to stop. That's Tom's trouble. You'll have to teach him how to relax, Molly.
I'll try.
Date in the confessional, has he?
The confessional? What does that mean?
It means listening to some pukey little crook spilling his guts. Tanner likes that sort of thing.
He brings back some useful stuff.
The information he brings back is not reliable, and it's tainted. To get it, he fudges with them, and you don't compromise with crooks, not in my book. The secret of good police work, Constable, is intelligence. That's how you stay ahead in this game. And that's as true of petty pilfering as it is of serious crime. It's like dealing with slugs. If you know where they are, you can stand on them before they eat the cabbages.
Talking of intelligence, what's Palmer doing up here?
Palmer?
He was in with Williams when I came out.
That's very interesting.
Who is Palmer?
Palmer's trouble. He's a CIB special.
Yeah, hunter-killer, you might say. Serious crime and bent coppers. When Palmer's about, they crawl out of the woodwork like hopper weevils.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
What the hell are you playing at, Murphy?
Did I startle you, Mr. Tanner?
Let's get out of here.
It's here or nowhere. I feel safe in here, you see.
We are going across to the Stanley Arms, Murphy.
No. There are too many eyes and ears in there. I'm already risking a lot for you, Mr. Tanner.
Oh, you stink.
I've had a telephone call from a certain person.
Have you?
A man they call Smokey. Interested?
Go on.
They want me to do a job.
What kind of a job?
I don't know yet.
Oh, that is a great help, isn't it? Who is this Smokey?
He's a very, very dangerous man, Mr. Tanner.
Yeah.
Have you not understood what I'm telling you?
You haven't told me anything yet, have you?
You look after me, Mr. Tanner. You'll do that. I want promises, you see. I need promises.
I do what I can. You know that.
Well, listen, then. And listen very carefully. It's more than my life's worth if I see you again. There's a transport firm called Benelo and Sons, backs up against the railway.
Yeah, I know.
The job's there in 2 or 3 days' time. I don't know how many's on it, but I've got 2 names. I wrote them down for you, and that's all I have.
Why are you telling me this, Murphy?
I can't cry off, can I? They'd crucify me, they would. But I know you, Mr. Tanner. You look after me.
Yeah. I'll light a candle for you.
We've got a pretty detailed modus operandi on the Colonel. We know he runs a number of small operations, blackmail, protection, that kind of thing, to fund the big job. We know he uses a front man to recruit. And Smokey's good. No contact, does it all over the blower. At Gatwick, he made sure we knew exactly what he was going for and where, and then he hit us somewhere else. Aye, Gatwick was a classic. According to our intelligence, he was going to tackle the armoured truck at Purley, and we were ready for him. Backup, roadblocks, the lot. Took the stuff straight off the tarmac, ran rings round us, and knew exactly what we were doing. We don't want that to happen again, do we?
And you think he's up here?
He goes for bullion, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, well, I don't think we've got anything up here that would... Oh, my God. The Springfield gold.
Estimated value between 40 and 45 million.
And they're moving it through here next week. How the hell does he know about that? That's a top-secret operation. Even Tanner hasn't access to that sort of information.
We can't be sure of that.
You want to see him? He'll be at home now.
Tomorrow will do.
Morning, Tom. We've got something on those names for you.
Ah, good.
Hello, Molly. All right.
Fine. Well, what have you come up with then?
You've got 7 majors to choose from.
Uh-huh.
Armstrong died in Woking, 78. Suspicious circumstances. Can't be him. Fletcher, small-time embezzler, Tavistock.
No.
Jackson, smuggled Mercedes out of Germany after the war. Retired, living in Finchley. Simpson, that's the man who did the Ormskirk job. It'll be an assumed name, not on him. Thompson did a similar job in Tunbridge Wells. Probably the same person. They're both unwanted. We've got a tramp in Essex calling himself the Major.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a Major who runs a sex shop in cellar. Any joy there?
The Ormskirk job.
We've got a modus operandi on Ormskirk.
Yeah?
3 other jobs, all of a pattern. Except that in one he calls himself a brigadier. All train jobs.
Ah.
Got away with a whole truckload at Ormskirk. Very neat.
Descriptions?
Tally. Nice range of moustaches. Probably wears a wig. You want them?
Yeah, please. What about that other, Chowdhury? Chowdhury, yeah.
Yes, well, he's not on CN and he's not on Wanted and he doesn't own a car.
What about immigration?
Learning fast, aren't you, Constable? Lena?
Will do.
He's a bit of a drunk, isn't he, Jack Murphy?
Yeah.
You don't think he's taking you for a ride, do you?
Well, why should he do that?
Well, because he's a little man. Little men like to feel important.
Yeah.
Nice to have a copper on the trot, isn't it?
Here we come. Chowdhury, Harry Rajindra. Branch ref, C11, 47858. Subsid reps, nil. Previous convictions, nil. CRO number, none. Date of birth, 2743. Reasons for interest, suspected illegal immigrant.
You've got a nose for them, have you, Constable?
Has he got a job, Lena?
Yeah, he's got a shop. Electrical supplies. Used to work for BR as a signalman.
Murphy was a train driver before we put him inside. Looks like you flushed out a real job, Tom.
Yeah, beginning to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonder what they're after. Molly, I think we'd better have a look at Benilow's place.
Routine crime prevention check?
Yeah, that'd do very nicely.
What am I looking for?
Whoa, anyone sniffing around. Take that Ormskirk Major's description with you. But don't alarm them.
Collator's office. Good morning, sir. Yeah, he's with us now. I'll tell him. Williams wants to see you.
Me?
You know, we've got a CIB vulture on the battlements, don't you?
Palmer's here. Oh, crikey.
It's trouble for someone.
Yeah, wish me luck.
Termites, Lena. They're taking over.
What do you mean?
Insects account for over 1/3 of the world's productivity. Did you know that?
Getting into your leg, are they?
What's Tanner looking for?
Tom's all right.
He's putting on an act.
Don't we all? You're good at it. I sometimes wonder if I know who you are.
Well, you'll find out, given time and a little sunshine. Tanner's looking for something, and I don't mean salvation. I think we might take a little peek into his file. I think there may be something lurking in there. Palmer's here for a purpose, isn't he?
Tom's straight.
You like them that way, do you?
Nat.
If he thinks Molly's going to bring him anything but trouble, he hasn't grown up. Yes. We'll take a little look at his file.
Ah, Tom. You know Superintendent Palmer, I think.
Hello, sir.
You appear to have been ringing bells in high places. Bells I don't know about, Tom.
Oh?
You put through an inquiry on the PNC yesterday morning.
Yes.
Trade name Smokey?
Yes, sir.
I would like you to tell me just precisely what it was you were looking for and why you were looking. All right? If you wouldn't mind.
Well, since I've been up here, sir, I've established one or two quite useful contacts. One's a character called Jack Murphy. He used to work on the railway. According to Jack, he has been recruited for a job by someone calling himself Smokey.
You saw Jack Murphy yesterday evening. The PNC call was in the morning. Well?
I do have another source, sir.
You went to see Charlie Parker yesterday, didn't you?
I knew him from down south, sir. I heard he was inside and, well, I once did him a good turn.
I'm not interested in your good turns, Mr. Tanner. Was it Parker who told you about Smokey?
He mentioned the name, yes.
Why should he do that?
Charlie cleared 400,000 quid. The fraud squad traced 200. According to Charlie, he was blackmailed by this Smokey man.
Do you know who Smokey is, Tanner? Smokey is Brian Joseph Anderson. He recruited for the Mafia before they pulled out. Now he's a front man for the network. He works for the Colonel, Mr. Tanner. Stirred up a hornet's nest, haven't you? Did Parker tell you anything else?
No, sir.
You know the Colonel uses blackmail and protection to fund his major operation.
Yes, sir.
If the network were onto Charlie's little operation, they must have got their information from somewhere, mustn't they? Did he offer any suggestions?
No, sir. I could get back to him, sir.
The ball's in our court now, Tanner. I'll deal with Parker in my own time and in my own way. You're good with snibblers, aren't you? What else had Jack Murphy got to tell you?
He was scared, sir. I understand why now. He's not telling me what the job is, but it's in 2 or 3 days' time. I've also got a couple of names and a location. We're checking that out now. Looks like a rail job, sir.
Do you know what the target is?
No, sir.
All right, thank you, Inspector.
Get a report to me as soon as you can, Tom. We'll take it from there.
Sir.
He wasn't going to tell us about Parker, was he? Until I gave him no choice. He's lying through his teeth.
I'm not so sure.
I'll tell you something else about Tanner. After the Gatwick affair, he took a holiday. Disappeared from our screen for 3 weeks. Said he was in the Alps. Can you see Tanner in the Alps?
He likes mountains. What do you want me to do? Take him on?
No. We'll give him some rope. See where he leads us.
Mr. Benelow?
Not here, I'm afraid. Can I help you?
You are Mr...
Harris. Major.
You are new here?
That's right. I'm a new boy, but I'm beginning to find my way around. I look after the logistics, routing lorries and so on. I did it in the war. Had a bit of spare cash, looking for a partnership. Benelow and I. Early days, of course. We've got to get to know each other first. What can I do for you?
Oh, well, it's just a routine crime prevention check. If I could just have a look over your alarm system, locks, window...
Quite understanding. I've done it myself. Border Control, BAOR.
BAOR.
Army of Occupation, Germany. Oh, you'd be surprised what people try to get out of Germany. Mostly on the trains. Cameras in the loo, radios in the pipes. In those days, you could buy a decent camera for 100 cigarettes. Now, I'm keeping you. I'll get our warehouse man to show you around. Fred, we got a police lady up here. She wants to look at our window catches. Show her all she needs to see.
Thank you, sir. Do the trains bother you?
Get used to them.
How'd you get on?
I actually spoke to him. He's the Omskirk Major, all right. Calling himself Major Harris now.
Mm-hmm.
Got himself a job there a few days ago. Sort of tryout, he told me. Apparently, he's putting some capital in the business. It's the same firm Charlie used, isn't it?
Yeah, that'll be how they found it.
The office is at the back of the warehouse. Looks right over the tracks, and there's a big crane there. Where did this come from, Tom?
A crane?
Young or old, we die. For every neck a noose. That the rope belonged for some. Struggle or calm, broke or a king. Life's but wind and a dream. You're full of surprises, aren't you?
Yeah. Read the inscription. On the front page.
For Tom Tanner with appreciation. A man needs to know who his friends are. They'd got the answer, these Persian poets. Stay alive, Charlie.
Came through the post this morning.
A bit of an odd present, isn't it?
The parcel's been tampered with.
Well, won't the prison authorities have...
They will have checked it before he sent it. This parcel's been opened and resealed.
Why should anyone want
Smokey works for the Colonel.
Yes, Tom, I understand that.
The Colonel funds his operations by milking small-time crooks, like Charlie. How does he find them? He buys inside information. That's how he pulled the Gatwick job. The CIB know this, so they put a bell on Smokey's file. I rang it. That's why Palmer's here. There's a bent copper in the woodwork, Molly. And they think it's me. Charlie told me he thought someone inside had done for him. He was scared. Scared I'd go poking about and set off some alarm bells. I think he knew it was the network.
Look, Tom, they can't think
Oh,
that...
come on. Palmer knew I'd been to see Charlie. How the hell did he know that? They're opening my mail, Molly. My telephone's tapped. It's happening all over again. What the hell's he sent me this for? Lord of the throne, if death be near, don't take me off on a couch of silk. Let me die ambushed. Cheery stuff, isn't it?
The Springfield was a U.S. Navy destroyer, sunk off Malin Head towards the end of the war. The bullion was something to do with a war loan, but both governments have been pretty cagey about it. The Navy's had a go at getting it up, and a U.S. salvage firm. It wasn't until about a year ago that anyone got anywhere near it. A Dutch outfit with new equipment. They've been landing it over the last 2 or 3 months. Supposed to have been a top-secret operation.
Well, there's been a leak somewhere. Go on.
It's being shipped from Belfast on the Claremont early Friday morning, docking here at 22:30, completing the journey by train. Yes, Tom?
Well, they'd need a small army to take that train, sir.
What's it being shifted in?
High-security container. One of 3 containing salvage material. All sealed. Unloaded Marlborough Dock and shunted round to Bank Hill Marshalling Yard on the shuttle. Goes out on the 1:30 Freightliner.
Security?
Track Securities Limited. 7 guards, armed with XM-19s. 4 travelling a TS armoured car at the rear, 3 with a driver.
Why don't they use an armoured lorry like everybody else? What about these villains?
We've got the warehouse under surveillance, and we put a tap on the Major and on Murphy and Chiduri. Nothing so far. We haven't a smell of anyone else on the job yet.
Yes. He's here. It's for you, Tom.
Okay. Hello? Yes? When? Who's handling it? Right. Thanks for telling me. Were you going to see Charlie Parker, sir?
Why?
He's dead. Murdered in his cell. They're not bad, these flats. A bit small.
Oh, it'll do until I can find something nicer. Here, let me get you another drink.
No, no thanks.
You can't blame yourself, Tom. You really can't. You liked him, didn't you?
Yeah. He was an odd sort of man. Imaginative. And he turned to crime to fund his dreams. But a loser, Molly. Born loser.
You couldn't have done anything.
I took him a box of cigars, Molly.
Tom, no one squeals for a box of cigars.
When they found him, they were stuffed in his mouth. Oh. I think I've drunk enough of that.
Come on, I'll drive you home. What happened, Tom? I mean, in the past.
I'll deal with Parker in my own way and in my own time. That's what Palmer said. Those were his words. I don't like Palmer. Some people join this force, Molly, because they like drinking blood. They thrive on it. Perhaps that's why I'm not a good policeman.
You are a good policeman. Why do you always run yourself down?
Why did you join, Molly?
Do you really want to know?
No, I think I've got a good idea.
Why did you join, Tom? I think Rimmer likes drinking blood.
Rimmer was a good cop. He's gone sour. It happens to some of us.
I don't think it will happen to you, will it?
Why not?
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I like you. Come on, I'll drive you home.
Palmer wants to nail me, Molly. I'm only on this case because he thinks I'm going to lead him to the colonel. Charlie knew he was going to die. That must be why he sent me the... What is he trying to tell me, Molly?
The chief suggests we call this thing Operation Damocles, for God's sake.
Aye. Well, the sword's got to fall on someone, hasn't it? Let's just make sure it's not us.
I've arranged for a preliminary briefing at 0900 tomorrow. Full squad briefing Friday morning. The shipment is due to be unloaded at 2200. It becomes our responsibility as soon as it leaves the docks. That's about here. We need to cover the shunt round, the marshalling yard, and this warehouse. Experienced surveillance officers with backup. We don't want to frighten them off.
And the heavies?
We could put some in Southey Street, maybe. That's handy. Now, roadblocks. What's wrong with that?
Well, there's no way you can take that train. Not if he knows what we're doing. Remember, anything we say at the briefing will get back to the colonel.
Do you want me to run in Tanner?
No. Put him on the warehouse. That's where he'll expect to be. And we'll stay close to him. After the briefing, we'll rebrief each squad separately and redeploy them. And we'll also get some men out parallel up those side streets. The colonel won't know they're there.
And Tanner won't.
Nobody will except us. Personally, I think he'll go for the shuttle, somewhere between the docks and the marshalling yard. Here, most likely, where the track follows the road.
Yeah.
That would give him a fast getaway. But supposing he goes for the marshalling yard, what would you do?
Wait until he attacks and then seal off the yard. It's floodlit. That way...
I've got another suggestion. There are 3 identical containers coming out of that ship. The gold's in one, the others contain a variety of salvaged junk, right?
Right.
And we have to assume he knows which crate the gold's in.
I think so.
So, we play the 3-card trick.
What do you mean?
We swap it round. A little sleight of hand.
Well, impossible. In any case, they're sealed containers.
Oh, we don't have to move the gold. That would be impossible, as you say. All we have to do is change the labels. Except we don't even do that. It's very simple.
I'm sorry, I'm not with you.
The gold is in container 1, and we leave it there, exactly where the Colonel thinks it is. But we tell Tanner we've changed the labels. As far as Tanner is concerned, the gold is in container number 3, right? If the Colonel goes for the first container, Tanner's in the clear. If he goes for the third, then we know Tanner's tipped him off. We watch, and we wait. We hold back. Let them unload. Then we seal off the warehouse, which will be a damn sight easier than trying to surround that marshalling yard.
That's true. It sprawls all over the place.
One way or the other, we've got him. And we've got Tanner. There's no way you can get that gold out. No way. Not a chance.
Yes. That's very interesting.
Not a chance, he says.
Would you like to be hearing that again, Major?
Yes, please, Harry. You've done a good job.
Lovely job. You need more than an O-level in Sanskrit and woodwork to do that, wouldn't you now, eh? I dare say you could record the chief constable in his bath if you had a mind to.
Well, recording is easy, no problem. It's planting the bug that is difficult. Whoever we got inside there knows what he's doing, that's for sure.
Yes, well, the less we know about that, the better. Okay, let's have it.
The gold is in container 1, and we'll leave it there, exactly where the Colonel thinks it is. But we tell Tanner we've changed the labels. As far as Tanner is concerned, the gold is in container number 3, right? If the Colonel goes for the first container, Tanner's in the clear. If he goes for the third, then we know Tanner's tipped him off. We watch, and we wait. We hold back. Let them unload. Then we seal off the warehouse, which will be a damn sight easier.
Well, that tells us what we need to know, doesn't it? I'll feed that back up the line tonight. Harry, are you clear about the...
Yes, Major, quite clear. Tomorrow we meet in the warehouse for checking the equipment and going over timing, and then... Oh, dear.
Here, have a drink.
I told you I never touch the stuff. What about inside the warehouse? How do we know?
Nobody's been in there since that black policewoman pretending to be a crime prevention officer. Right, come on. Time we're on our way. Tomorrow night, then. Oh, and Jack.
Huh?
Stay off the bottle.
I don't like this business at all.
You'll do what you're told like the rest of us.
I don't have much choice.
The Major's all right. Ignore the military stuff. It's as phony as hell. I wonder he thinks it takes anyone in.
Maybe he takes himself in.
You know what you're doing. The Colonel doesn't pick people unless they're good.
But how does he know? That's what I don't understand.
Don't try to find out. You know a man called Charlie Parker?
No.
He tried to find out. Talked to a copper. So they say. The Colonel doesn't like people who talk to coppers.
Anything on those calls?
Nothing since we put a tap on, sir.
Earlier?
Well, we can't trace the incoming calls, of course, but there was one out to the continent on the Major's phone. It could be Spain. Barcelona, Madrid.
Thought as much. We won't get him that way, will we?
You can't be masterminding this from Spain.
Oh, it'll be Smokey who's in Spain. The Colonel could be anywhere. All he needs is a man here who knows what's going on. That's the nut we have to crack. Are the command and control hookups complete?
All set, sir. We're in touch with track securities and we've got a direct line through to area freight control.
The command vehicle's ready for you, sir.
We'll be down in a moment. Is Tanner installed?
Yes, sir. He's on the biscuit factory roof.
Are they in the warehouse yet?
The Major and Murphy, that's all so far, sir.
Right. Thank you. Did you know before he died Charlie Parker sent Tanner a book of poems? What do you make of that?
How do you know that?
With some daft inscription.
Return for favours done?
What kind of favours?
Some kind of message?
We checked it through. Couldn't find anything. Poetry.
Coppers do read poetry. I used to read the metaphysicals when I was younger.
Aye.
All about love and God.
Tanner won't have much time for poetry when I've finished with him.
I hope you've got this right.
It's nice up here. Look, you can see the river. And there are the cathedrals. The marshalling yard's lit up like a football pitch. Oh, it's so still. You can see the whole city. What are you looking at?
The plough. You see it? Two at this end. Lead up to the North Star. Oh, thank God it isn't raining. Oh, shouldn't lean on that if I was you.
Where's the command vehicle?
Cable Street. It's somewhere behind us. Now, that'll be the Southport train. The 9:40... blah, something or other.
Hey, there's someone coming.
Hmm?
I think it's a little Indian one. He's going into the warehouse.
Yeah. There has to be more somewhere. Has to be. This place should be crawling with villains. How does he think he is going to take those armed guards? Mobile 3 to control. Mobile 3 to control.
Come in, Mobile 3, over.
The Freightliner is due in Bank Hill just after 1. It comes in on track 7 and waits in section 2, somewhere about here. Pretty well opposite the warehouse, as you can see. The dog shuttle comes in 5 minutes later. Link-up should take place somewhere between 015 and 0110.
That was time, I say. Chowdhury's just arrived at the warehouse.
Thank you.
The completed train then waits for the Glasgow Express. That's due at about 1:15 on track 1. The freight line pulls out about 5 minutes later.
Doesn't give them much time?
About 15 minutes.
Is that enough?
If they can stop the train in the right place. According to our calculations, it would take them 8 minutes to lift the container into the warehouse and onto a truck.
It'll take them more than 10 minutes to bust through that.
We'll be away before then.
I hope so, Major. I hope so.
Blast!
Why don't we put a light on?
No lights! And stop waving that bloody torch about. You want a hand with that stuff, Harry?
Yes, please, Major.
Right. Let's get it up to the back. Jack, get that truck in the right place and then check the crane. And get a move on.
All the time in the world. Didn't you say it yourself?
Do you think rats come out here?
Wouldn't surprise me.
I'm cold.
Is that better?
That's nice.
White hairs are the voice of the wind of death, and with them comes despair.
You'll hurt your eyes reading with that torch.
He was studying this stuff, Molly. He'd got textbook tapes, God knows what.
Tapes? You mean he had a tape recorder in his cell?
We have got 3 times the number of men they had at Gatwick. Most of them armed. The whole area's sealed off. A cat couldn't move out there without our knowing about it. How's he going to do it? What would you do? If you were the Colonel, Molly, how would you smuggle a full-size container weighing God knows how many tons through the cordon that we have got round that warehouse,
Maybe he doesn't know we're here. Maybe there isn't any mold. I can hear a train.
He can't do it. He can't do it without removing the cordon. To get that container out, he has got to shift us. Now, how's he going to do that?
He hasn't got in yet. You won't find the answer in those poems.
'Tis all a checkerboard of nights and days, where destiny with men for peace is plays hither and thither, moves and mates and slays.
Control to Mobile 3. Control to Mobile 3. Over.
When this is over, I'm going to take you on that picnic, if I'm still around. I know a nice little river in the Welsh hills.
You'll be around.
Control to Mobile 3. Control to Mobile 3. Do you read me? Mobile 3. Do you read me? Control to Mobile 3. Do you read me, Mobile 3? Over.
Major, I've got them coming. Coming through now.
For God's sake, you've been fiddling about for long enough.
Down please 1 negative. Package now in transit. Do you have more intruders? Over.
We have no more intruders. Over.
Message times 010. Over and out.
Thank you, my dear lady. That's all we want to know. Come on, Harry, it's on its way.
Intruders. Now, would that be us, do you suppose?
What is this Damocles one?
Oh, the fuzz go into these fancy names. Damocles 1 will be the docks. We're Damocles 3. Now, get out there, Harry.
This hat is not fitting me very well, Major.
Never mind the bloody hat. Just get out there.
Hey, Tom, there's someone coming out of the warehouse. Looks like a railway worker.
Where?
Just to the right of those signals. It's the Indian.
Yeah, got him. What the hell's he doing?
Looks like he's checking something on the track. He's moving back.
Can you see the train?
It's coming in now. What's he up to?
He's going to stop the train. He's going to stop the train just where they want it. Mobile 3 to control.
Mobile 3 to control. Come in, Mobile 3. Freight entering section 3. Now, repeat. Freight entering.
Get into the right place, Harry. Get into the right place. Do you think you've had enough?
I'm fine, just fine. Why don't you take a nip yourself, Major? It's good stuff. Concentrates the mind.
I hope that Harry knows what he's doing.
He's a railway man.
Shuttle will be here in a minute.
Time enough. Time enough.
Now we'll see if this bloody thing works. Harry, this is Major Harris calling. Can you hear me? Over.
Who the hell else would it be?
Can you hear me, Harry? What the bloody hell's the man doing?
Mr. Williams, I think we're picking something up.
Major calling. Do you hear me? Over. Harry, can you hear me? I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm hearing you. Over. Have you got it in the right place? Over.
He's talking to whoever's on the
Yes,
track.
Major, everything in order. Train 100% in right place. Already now. Over. Good, lad. Get yourself into position for a hookup. Report when you're there. Over and out.
That means they've positioned the Freightliner.
That's it, then. He's going for the marshalling yard. We've had nothing from Damocles 2, have we?
Nothing, sir. It looks as though Mr. Tanner...
Right, then, it's the warehouse. Get that call out. All units in Damocles 3, full alert.
Control to Damocles 3.
What's
Control
the catch going to be?
3.
I hope he hasn't got some snipers where we can't see them.
Control Damocles 3. All units. Control to Damocles 3. All units.
These are beginning to buzz.
The package is now in your section. Repeat. The package is now in your section. All units to status 1. Repeat. All units to status 1. Stand by. Over and out.
Oh, nice to be kept informed.
Will that crane start?
There'll be no problem.
Mobile 3 to control. Mobile 3 to control, over.
Come in, Mobile 3.
Package now in view. Repeat. Package now in view. I'm standing by. Over now.
We have a link-up, Major. We have a link-up.
Clown.
Major.
Shut up. Can you hear it?
I can't hear a bloody thing.
What are they waiting for?
Hither and thither moves and mates and slaves. Listen. Suppose he's not just watching the chessboard, Molly. Suppose he's moving the pieces himself.
What do you mean?
Oh, I have been a detective all my working life. I've never done much bloody detecting, just collecting information and feeding it up the line. Now I've got to try and... Oh, what is going on down there? How long did Nat say Palmer had been in the Bureau? 7 years, was it?
Something like that.
And he was Chief Intelligence Officer on Gatwick. Ah, it's a Glasgow Express. Have you noticed something about this operation, Molly?
What's that?
Nobody knows what anyone else is doing. We even had separate briefings. Apart from the command and control unit, Williams and Palmer are the only people who know what's going on. Can you see the numbers on those containers from here?
No.
No. What the hell are they waiting for?
This is it. Get up there. Leave that bloody bottle and get up there. Don't you touch me. Get there. No. No. It must be up.
Molly!
Come on, Tom, we must go down.
That's what they want.
The lights have gone.
Mobile 3 to control. Mobile 3 to control.
Mobile 3 to control.
Ajax to control.
Do you read me, control? Do you read me?
1 to all units. Clear this frequency. Clear this frequency. All units on standby. Come in,
Switch that
mobile
off.
3.
Switch it off. You all right?
I'm fine, yes, very fit. Oh, my God.
What about...
Oh, Major, very ghastly, awful mess. I'm trembling all over. I think I'm very probably going to be sick. Oh, dear
Is
God.
it on the hook?
Yes, Major, container all hooked up. It's coming through now.
Right. Now, I'm going down to guide him in. You find those frequencies and get switched on, then beat it. You've done your stint. And good luck.
And you, Major. Oh, dear God.
Just get in among those passengers before the lights get back on. You'll be all right.
For God's sake, keep trying.
It's hopeless, sir. I can't get a clear frequency.
He's done it. He's bloody done it. What is going on? Chaos. Total chaos. Well, they've derailed the Glasgow Express. We should have thought of that. Oh, there's no way we could have thought. You better be right about Tanner, hadn't you? There'll have to be an inquiry. And once it's known...
going full speed and it hasn't hit anything.
But he's got his container.
He won't get far with it.
Yes, but which one? Could you see?
Not a bloody thing.
The guards on the train will know, sir. They wire up those things. I think we might get them now. The frequencies are beginning to clear.
Raise them. And then we're moving in.
Right, sir. Damocles to cargo 1. Damocles to cargo 1. Over.
What the... What's that?
Please, cargo 1. Over. Control to cargo 1. Do you read me? Cargo 1. Over.
What?
I don't know what's happening, sir.
Blast them.
Tanner. Get Tanner.
Yes, sir. Control to mobile 3. Come in, mobile 3. Over. Can't get rid of it, sir.
Right. I'm not waiting. We're going in. Put out a general. Override that music.
That's it, I can't.
We're going in. On siren. Get this van moving.
Driver.
Bloody hell. Beethoven, I think. Cunning bastard.
I think it's Mozart, actually, sir.
Get the bloody thing open!
You should have done this before.
I can't be in 3 places at once now, can I? They're here.
Just get on with it.
Clear now for a way.
Get in. Get in.
Mr. Williams. Chief Superintendent Williams. I must tell you that this warehouse is surrounded and that my men are armed. I will repeat that. This warehouse is surrounded and my men are armed. Is that understood? We know you're in there. We know who you are. Listen to me very carefully. If you are armed,
Area Freight Control.
put your guns down.
Damocles to Area Freight Control. You can take your train out now. We've got what we want. Thank you for your cooperation. Out.
Did you know about that tunnel?
No, sir.
I thought you said you checked this place out.
We did our best, sir. We didn't want to alarm them.
What were you doing under that lorry?
I was taking the chassis number, sir. We usually
I take it you have studied the labels on this container.
Yes, sir.
You think this is the right container, don't you? Number 3. You think the gold is here, don't you? Well, I've a surprise for you, Tanner. We never changed those labels. They've got the wrong container. The bullion is number 1, as it always has been. Now, safely on its way to London. This thing is full of salvaged junk. My
I think
God,
you should look at this radio equipment, sir.
What about it?
It's police equipment.
We've got them. Pick them up in the marshalling yard. Well, that's a very satisfactory operation. Gold safe and half the villains in the bag. We can stand the men down. We don't need that cordon anymore. Then we can all go to bed. Scene of crime can do this place over and then lock up. Where's Tanner?
What?
Bloody hell!
Slipped out through the side door, sir. I saw him go.
Right under our noses. He's not going to get away with this. My God, he isn't.
Mr. Palmer.
Leave this to me.
Get a call out, River.
Sir.
Stop him before those roadblocks stand down. Last thing we want is 2 police officers chasing each other through the town.
Zealous man, Mr. Palmer.
I sometimes think he's too zealous now. There's something about this whole thing which doesn't smell right.
I think we've done a good job, sir.
Lena.
Molly, what brings you in? You've got the day off. Didn't anyone tell you?
Where is he?
Don't, Molly. Leave it.
I must see him.
You can't help him, Molly. There's nothing you can do.
Where is he? What have they done with him?
Basement.
Basement?
They put him in a cell.
It's crazy. They can't.
Molly, a bit of advice.
I don't want your advice.
You've got your own career to think about. Molly, I know. If you get
I
muddled
thought
with...
you might understand.
Did you? Did you?
Can I see him? How can I get down there?
Just go. They'll let you see him.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you.
Molly.
Hello, Tom. Are you all right?
I'm fine. Fine. Did Henderson ring?
About 5:30 this morning.
And?
He said they were going downriver, and that he hoped you would join them as soon as you could. He said you'd understand.
Yeah, thank you.
What's going on, Tom? Why are you in here?
Because Mr. Palmer wants my head on a plate. According to him, I am the only person who could have told the Colonel that those labels hadn't been changed. And that makes me the most.
It's ridiculous.
They want me out of action, Molly.
But why? Why you?
Oh, I have been chosen. Chosen with great care. I've got a dicey record. I'm too friendly with villains. I was close enough to Gatwick to have known what was going on. I'm good with squealers. I listened to the Jack Murphys of this world.
Are you saying that
Jack was doing what he was told to do? The Colonel's not that stupid. We were intended to be watching that warehouse. The whole thing's been set up, Molly, from the start.
Set up?
Set up. Stage managed. And poor old Charlie got in the way somehow. Maybe he made some unwise guesses. Perhaps the Colonel just thought he knew too much. We'll never know. Unless...
Tom, do you mean that you...
Listen, I want you to do something for me. Molly, go over to the labs. Charlie's thing should still be with forensic. See if there's a tape on the Persian poets among his Open University stuff.
What do I do with it if I find it?
Bring it down to room 14. And bring the tape recorder with you. And be careful, Molly. The Colonel's killed once. He could kill again.
Kill?
The hardened shell which hides the fruit must fall and break and rot. We are but scattered husks. Our purpose done. They knew the answer, these Persian poets. That's what he said. Now, what did he mean? You know what they find in husks, don't you, Molly? You find a colonel. The Colonel we're looking for is not some master criminal out there with a phony military rank. He's here, right in the centre of the nut. The hardened shell which hides the fruit is this building, and the fruit is the Colonel. Did Charlie know that? Is that what he's trying to tell me? Is that why he died? Or is...
Tom, there is something I need to tell you.
Not now, Molly. I'm due upstairs in 5 minutes. We haven't...
No, Tom, please, you must
5
listen.
minutes.
Morning, Tom. Constable?
Sir?
I'd like a moment with Mr. Tanner, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course, sir.
Is there anything you would like to tell me before we go upstairs, Tom? I could make things a lot easier for you. I warn you, Palmer will carve you into small pieces.
Oh, I'll take my chances with Mr. Palmer, sir.
This is a waste of time. We know what we need to know.
I think we should hear this tape.
If you say so. Well, get on with it, Constable.
Sir.
The symbolism that develops in later Persian mystical poetry is complex, making the abstract physical and spiritualizing the visible. And often it is impossible to say whether the love referred to is the soul, the love of God, of a beautiful girl, a handsome youth, or simply...
This message is for you. If it ever reaches you. They're coming for you, Tom. I trusted you to keep your mouth shut, didn't I? But you didn't. I warned you. But you wouldn't listen. You don't spill on the Colonel and survive. So who told him? Who told him, Tom? Did you get those poems? There's a lesson in those poems. Read them, Tom. Read them. Maybe they'll teach you how to die. We all need to know how to die. Because we're all of us in the network, aren't we? All of us. We're bringing it out into the universe, people like you and me. You said your beat was the universe. Do you remember? Listen to me, Tom. Listen very carefully. Because you work for the Colonel, Tom. I've no time. I've no time. I've no time.
But in many of these poems, this is certainly not the case. For in Persian poetry, as in life, nothing is quite what it appears to be. On the other hand, they reveal a subtle...
If you would leave us now, please, Constable.
He's innocent, sir.
Constable.
You know he's innocent, sir. You know it was...
Get out!
Please, sir, you know he
We
was...
know about your relationship with Mr. Tanner, Constable. Now, go.
Tom.
Go, Molly. Please. Just go.
I'm afraid your wretched tape hasn't done you any good, has it?
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you. Nothing is quite what it...
Let's get on with this.
If you don't mind, Mr. Palmer. Tom, can you explain what you thought you were trying to do when you beat it last night? If you hadn't done
I wasn't
that...
trying to get away, sir.
What were you doing?
I had some police business to attend to, sir.
I'll bet you had. Look, Tanner, it's over. We have the evidence we need. We know you are working for the Colonel. We don't need Parker's word.
But he was right. I am working for the Colonel. And so are you. We're all working for the Colonel.
Oh, for God's sake.
And you've done a good deal more for him than I have. You masterminded this operation for him. Without your help, there's no way he could have got that gold. No way.
What do you mean? Williams? Yes, all right, put him on.
You were responsible for Parker's death.
Oh, a responsibility I share with you, sir.
Look, I'm not taking any more of
Yes?
this.
When? Dear God. Yes. Yeah. No, stay there. I'll call you back. Scene of crime left 2 men guarding that warehouse.
Nothing to guard, was there?
Day squad got there 5 minutes ago, found them tied and gagged like something out of a B movie. The truck was gone. It was driven out at about 4 o'clock this morning. What's going on, Tom?
There was no point in winching that gold into the warehouse, was there, unless the Colonel knew he could get it out. His whole operation depended on that, which can mean only one thing. That he knew in advance that we would remove our men.
Just what do you mean?
They knew about your plot to trap me. They knew you hadn't changed those labels, so they changed them themselves. The container they winched into the warehouse was the right one. All they had to do then was switch the labels so that you thought they had the wrong one. And then you did exactly what they wanted you to do. You removed your police cordon, lifted the roadblocks, and went home, leaving a couple of bobbies to guard 40 million pounds worth of gold bricks. All they had to do was nobble the bobbies and drive it away. You ran his operation for him.
And you let him do it? You knew this, and you let them do it?
I don't think they'll get far, sir. I put a bleeper on the truck. A B7 transmitter. I've got 2 squads following it now.
So that was the police business you were on about. My God, you took a risk. Why the hell didn't you tell us?
Only 2 people knew that those labels were supposed to be changed. Yourself and Superintendent Palmer. Only 2 people, apart from Molly, knew that I'd been to see Charlie Parker. Yourself and Superintendent Palmer. You were both involved in the Gatwick operation. See the problem?
You thought I was the mole?
Tom, for God's sake.
I have to confess that I did. For a short while. Until I understood the meaning of Charlie's little Persian lesson. There is no mole. The Colonel's a fiction. They're the same person. The Colonel's just a trade name, designed to put the fear of God into crooks like Murphy and coppers like me.
And the network, is that a fiction?
The network is a communication system. It links every copper in the country and contains the name and address of every practicing crook known to the police. It provides access to all the information you need to blackmail a villain like Charlie, recruit a team like the Majors, or mastermind an operation like Gatwick. All you require is a link man, who needn't even be in this country, and a computer terminal, which could be in any headquarters building from here to John O'Groats. The network is a piece of software called Midas, a multiple intelligence data access system. And some of the intelligence data it gives access to is the movement of gold.
Chopper's still there.
Routine. And that is what we've finished with, Lena, you and me.
I don't like it.
There's no way they can find us, love. No way. In half an hour, we'll be aboard that freighter and then sunshine, wine, freedom, and my God, we've earned it.
One of them's bound to talk. Murphy or
Oh, they'll spew up. Little men like that always do, but they know nothing. Nothing. They don't even know what was inside that container.
The Major was no fool. He might know more.
I doubt it. And if he does, he won't spill. Not after what happened to Charlie. Remember, even Smokey doesn't know who I am. There's only one person I fear, and that's Tanner.
But he's only...
Nah, Tanner isn't all he pretends to be. No, but we've done for him. Once and for all.
Think it'll stick?
Palmer isn't going to take the blame, is he? He's going to have to find someone to throw to the lions.
Nat, over there. Look.
What?
And there's another.
Give me those glasses.
Got them moving. There's one straight ahead. Aren't they?
There's 3 launches. And a chopper. All right, then.
Oh, God, Nat, what are you doing?
They fished this gold up once. They can fish it up again.
Nat!
I'll just let them come a bit closer.
Nat, don't! Nat!
Ripper, this is Tom Tanner. Can you hear me? I'm instructing you to heave to. I'm coming aboard. Ripper!
Then come aboard, Mr. Tanner!
Keep away! Tom, keep away! Keep away!
What about here? Or would you rather be in the tree?
Oh, he's fine.
Right.
How's that leg?
As well as can be. No, it's all right.
You know, if Lena hadn't shouted...
I know.
Tom, why do men do things like that?
Can you see Nat in prison?
But all those years of concealment and lying. Was he trying to fund his dreams like Charlie?
Don't know.
You found a lovely spot.
I really don't know. Revenge, power, greed, contempt. I don't think Nat saw villains as people. Just as pawns in a kind of computer game. Perhaps he was addicted to undercover work and the computer was all he had left to do it with. Who knows? I think this might just be drinkable. I got it from a supermarket round the corner.
You've brought a great picnic. Tom, there's something I must...
You'll find some glasses in there somewhere.
You've brought the Persian book.
Of course.
The answer wasn't really in these poems, was it? I mean, how could it have been?
Oh, funny stuff, poetry. You seem to be able to make it mean what you need it to mean. When I first read these poems, they all seemed to be about death. Now they seem to be about love. Here, with a loaf of bread beneath the bough, a flask of wine, a book of verse, and thou beside me singing in the wilderness.
Tom, there is something I have to tell you.
You don't have to, Molly. We're all undercover agents of one kind or another, aren't we? These days.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means I know what you want to tell me. You were the only person who could have told Palmer that I had been to see Charlie. I knew the Bureau had me under close surveillance. I just didn't realize how close. Your CIB, my love. Assigned to me after I started rooting about in Charlie's file.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Oh, no. It's all part of the job, isn't it? Anyway, it takes a mole to find a mole. Where's your glass?
A mole? What do you mean?
The Colonel had penetrated the system, Molly. He had gained access to national intelligence. Special branch didn't like that. And so, after Gatwick, they recruited their own mole. Me. Cheers. They needed bait. Someone to set the bells ringing. Someone with a dirty record. Too friendly with the villains. Good with snouts. Sharp claws. A crab to catch an octopus. Palmer didn't know this, of course. Now, that mole could have been anywhere.
So, why did you come up north? How did you know he was here?
Oh, he didn't. Until he started milking Charlie. The details of Charlie's operation didn't go into the files until after his conviction, which meant that, to have known about it, the mole had to be somewhere in this area. Had to be. Of course, we didn't know the mole was the Colonel himself, then.
Strange he should move the gold right through his patch.
Not strange, no. Arranged.
What?
We've had our eye on that gold for a long time. We knew he'd have to go for it. It's their own greed that gets them in the end. I told you the operation had been set up from the start. Oh, yes. By the special branch. If Rimmer had had time to look inside the crates he took out of that container, he might not have blown himself up. They were full of bricks. Nothing's quite what it seems, is it? Perhaps Charlie was right. Perhaps those Persian poets did have the answer. For in and out, above, about, below, 'tis nothing but a magic shadow show, played in a box whose candle is the sun, round which we phantom figures come and go. Are you going to cut the loaf, or am I?
In The Persian Lesson by Michael Campbell, Tanner was Steve Hodson, Molly, Jay Griffiths, Williams, Edward D'Souza, Palmer, George Parsons, Rimmer, Bill Wallace, Lena, Cheryl Maker, the lecturer, Peter Howell, Smokey, William Edel, Harry, Renu Setner, Charlie, Peter Tuddenham, Murphy, Sean Prendergast, and the Major, John Rye. The Persian Lesson was directed by Sean McLaughlin.